Hey everyone. Hey everyone out there in TV land, internet land. I want to feel like I'm on the TV, makes me feel important. Welcome to the Cloaks of Mindhelm, D&D stream that we're doing here, Penny Dragon Games, about the lowest rung of the City Watch, of the disgusting, but, very interesting city of Mindhelm, There's always something going on down in the dirt and the grime. So, we're missing one of our usual party members this week. We're missing Michaela, who plays Navani, our High Elf Paladin. But in her place, we have a brand new guest who's going to be joining us for the next couple sessions, 2 or 3, while Michaela is out. And that is Yuan. And I'm apologies if I have butchered the pronunciation.
But it's okay.
As I want to do, I will. When we get to intros, I will let you intro, and you can say your name properly. Unlike me, who is incapable of doing so. So, this, as I said, D&D campaign is about a bunch of misfits who, by one tragic or foolish circumstance or another, have found themselves part of the Brown Cloaks, which is the lowest rung of the City Watch, the peacekeepers, law enforcement of Mindhelm and the lands beyond it. So doing all the dirty jobs that nobody wants to do, including killing shit monsters, literal shit monsters. So that'll give you an idea. So I'm just going to go around and we'll do some intros of everyone and their characters and what they're playing, and then we can jump to Paddy for announcements. But I'm just going to go counterclockwise from my screen here, and we'll start with Kyle. Can you tell us who you're playing?
So I am playing Tram Scribe, who is a hedge wizard and has a bit of an interesting relationship with magic and all things magical, and is a little bit of a troublemaker, especially when it comes to the arcane arts.
Yeah,
so
a little bit being an
little
understatement.
bit.
Yeah. Next, I'm going to jump to Boyd.
All right, so I'm Boyd, and I'm going to be playing Dural Stonehelm. He's a mountain dwarf who is... His class is a strange class. It's a homemade class called the Pugilist, which is sort of like a strength-based monk. Think of it like they attack using their strength and their fists. So, yeah.
That the Pugilist you can find on DM's Guild by Benjamin Hoffman. Really interesting class if you want to check it out. Next, I'm going to jump over to Paddy.
Oh yeah, I'm playing Vorden Thalos, and Vorden is kind of he looks like a bit of a vet in terms of the City Watch. He's got kind of grey hair, grey beard. He looks like he's been around a long time. He's kind of old and grumpy, and smells pretty bad considering he's been with the Brown Cloaks for a while. And he may or may not be missing a few digits, a few fingers. And
I'm playing that on the Brown Cloaks. Yeah. He's a lovable hobo.
Pretty much.
Next we're gonna go to to Fona, not Andy.
So I'm playing Andy, who's a human rogue, and she's here on a sort of a work release. Instead of being in prison, she's in the Brown Cloaks, and super psyched to be here. Not at all trying to get out of it at every turn.
Of course not. And last but certainly not least, we're going to go to our guest, who to intro himself and his character. And I'm not sure. I think Kyle may know, but I'm actually not sure if everyone knows what the guest character's race and class is. So I'll hand it over.
Yeah. How's it, everyone? I'm Jean. I will be playing Arnold Wisemoon. He is a Ghostwise halfling. He's a ranger, former Marine before he decided to join the Brown Cloaks due to circumstances And yeah, that is it. Yeah, small halfling,
Nice
probably average height
for a halfling.
for a halfling. Yeah, he probably stands just under 3 feet tall, weighs 40 pounds weight.
Yeah, but good for scurrying and scuttling and stabbing
That's what he
things with
pledged
2
to
blades.
do.
Oh yeah. So yeah, Paddy, did you any announcements for us, Penny Dragon wise?
Yeah, just to keep this very brief, we'll get
Mhm.
straight into the game. But so as you Ben has pointed out, and as you've noticed, Joanne is joining us for a few sessions, and this just highlights one of the mechanics we're trying to work with in terms of what Mindhelm is going to be. So, or the Cloaks of Mindhelm, or the Cloak system. We still have to put a label on it, but essentially we're trying to create something. It's like takes the best bits of the West Marches idea, which is that you can sort of jump in and run a game without having all the people there all the time. Personally, when I'm running an actual campaign, I don't run my game unless everyone can make it. So if it turns out someone can't be there, I won't run the game. I'll wait until that person can show up. Thankfully, my players very rarely cancel, so that's not a problem. But I know it can be very difficult to, get everyone together, and everyone, especially today when it's online, they're all in different time zones. It can be a real challenge. So the whole point, not the whole point, but one of the points behind the Cloaks of Mindhelm is that you can just throw the campaign together on the fly, or throw some of the sessions together on the fly, and anyone can join, right? So next week it could be a completely different party. It's nice if you have like a theme running through it, or you have some of the same people, but you don't have to. So it's just really flexible. And I just wanted to point that out. And speaking of which, the Patreon is going to get a nice little boost over the next day or two. A bunch of new material going up there. Kyle, how many pieces are going up?
6. There are 4 new monsters and 2 new magic items.
Yeah, so those are going up over the next few days. So keep an eye out for that, and we'll drop a. I'm sure we've already done so, but we'll drop another one later, which is a Patreon link into the chat, so you guys can check it out. And it's a great way to support us, but you don't have to. Just watch the stream, have fun, and that's me.
Awesome. Yeah. So yeah, you check it out. I've seen sneak peeks. It's all awesome stuff. I've seen those six pieces. So yeah, like as Paddy was saying, the sort of interchangeability of the cloaks. Navani is going to be missing. Michaela couldn't make it, so what we're essentially going to do is that Navani, it's an organization, so Navani just isn't called up on the next mission, essentially, and someone else comes in to fill the gap. So that's kind of the idea. So without any further ado, after the end of last week's session, when the party infiltrated the alchemist's hideout, an alchemist who was making alchemist fire, basically wild fire, Greek fire type material for the butchers, Mindhelm's most violent gang. They shut the alchemist down. They, rather gruesomely, they shut him down. And
what are you talking about? It was perfectly civil.
Yeah, it was a perfectly civil face melting / skull crushing. So it was perfectly polite. So after nicking some things from his lab and reporting back, and actually because this happened the week before, but this will factor into our, I suppose, a bit of the downtime recap, which is Vorden had taken a bunch of cinnamon and pepper, and I think it might have been cloves, or maybe it was just cinnamon and pepper. I don't remember what I put in those crates. Which
forget
was
the cask of ale.
Requisition. And the cask of
How much of the
that's gonna
cask
be
of ale
gone,
actually made it back?
Yeah,
that's the question.
Cinnamon, the spices are going to the quartermaster Sid, and they're gonna, the rations will be much tastier for the next little while. I mean, a few pounds of cinnamon goes a long way, So yeah, with that, there was, I'm sure, some celebration, after a job well done, and we're just going to recap now what happens in the week or so between that adventure and the next. So we're going to be kind of jumping, in days at a time, and we'll take a little zoom in at certain points. So first of all, just only basically the day after that, the mission with the alchemist, all of you have been out in training drills in the morning, up at the crack of dawn. It's freaking freezing, you see your breath in massive clouds in front of your face. It was rigorous. It was tiring. It was painful. I'm sure Doril loved it. He's a man who lives to train as a boxer. And at the end of it, all of you rush into the mess hall, to the relative warmth of the mess hall in the old barracks. And just surrounding all of you, at a table, sort of pally as the party have become. Sitting around you are some brown cloaks who you've also gotten kind of familiar with. Some of you may remember them from our first session. They're near enough to you is Daisy Dale, young freckled woman with no front teeth and just a big, bright, vivacious look in her eyes. There's Jasper, who is a minstrel, and he is entertaining some people with his dulcet tones, but also annoying others. Callister Fairmarket, the sort of meek young nobleman who everyone has nicknamed Prince. Also, there is a red-headed man there, a pale guy called Roderick Sunder, aka Sunshine, and he's got a little bit of his gruel, his oats, and he's feeding it to a little mouse that's perched on his hand. Is this little pet mouse called Nut. But over at a far table, mixed in around with everyone else, are a couple of the brown cloaks who you tend to avoid, namely Dag and Tam, two big sailors, former sailors, and also the sort of slight and shifty-eyed halfling Bren, who seems to skulk around with them. But speaking of sailors, also at your table is another former sailor. So yeah, we're just Arned. You are sitting there with your fellow party members, enjoying gruel with cinnamon. And what does Arned? Yeah, who did the party members see for them, and what is he doing?
Yeah, of course.
After training.
Basically, what you'd see is typical young halfling, early 30s in age, so barely an adult in halfling terms. Shaggy, curly, light brown hair, brown eyes. He's wearing, under his cloak, he's wearing just enough leather to be considered armor. And all along the body, his torso, he's got straps around him with daggers down the sides. He's got 2 daggers on his hips. He's probably just sitting there with his gruel, tracing wave patterns in the cinnamon, missing the sea, raring to get going. And I mean, like with any halfling that his age, that wanderlust is there. He's always smiling, always friendly. I mean, he's just still a ball of energy.
Yeah, and unlike that halfling, unlike your stereotypical halfling, the shifty-eyed halfling Bren Willow is sort of eyeing. It seems to be eyeing all of you at the table. Like, it's not being particularly subtle about it. There was him and his buddies Dag and Tam the male Dag and the female Tam humans, sort of keep to themselves and were known for roughhousing meek little prince, in his early days, But so yeah, he is just casting a look at all of you, and Andy, he seems to particularly be sort of looking in your direction. You can feel his eyes on you, just from across the mess hall.
I'm gonna glare back, and then I'm gonna shove my spoon back into my porridge and just sort of mutter to the others at the table that Sid needs to finish up with this bloody cinnamon already. And then reach for coffee, which of course also is flavored with cinnamon. So she's looking very unhappy with this whole setup. Too much cinnamon, and Bren is going to get
better
it
than last week's.
Staring.
Yeah, better than last week's pepper coffee.
That's true.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just unless somebody takes issue with it for the duration of the meal. Bren is just kind of between chatting to Dag and Tam. He's, just kind of throwing looks your way, and
Stick out my tongue at him.
yeah. It's just, but he's it's weird. He doesn't say very much. It's the other two are much more vocal, but who knows what his problem is. So, just with our little sort of, intro to those, two halflings. Essentially, now we'll go get into during the rest of the week. Navani is mostly spending her time training very rigorously. She's also going back to Law Keep, which is the order that she belonged to before she joined. Before she sort of took a sabbatical and joined the Brown Cloaks, in order to keep her adopted brother Pouches safe. As she sees it, he's going to get himself killed in the Brown Cloaks. So she joined to keep an eye on him. But she's been going back to Law Keep. Mm-hmm.
I was going to say, and yet surprisingly, she's died more often than I have in all this.
Yes, the paladin. So Law Keep is a store of magical knowledge. It's both. It exists both to to facilitate the learning of magic and the spreading of that knowledge, but also to keep what they deem dangerous magical knowledge secret. And the use of magic is highly regulated in Minehelm and beyond, and that's overseen by Lawkeep. So between training, she's spending a lot of her time just doing that, training physically, and also going back to Lawkeep, studying, praying to Solastra, the deity of their choice. But while Navani is doing that, Vorden, you've also been spending time training, as a fighter, as is your bread and butter. But just apart from your usual training and keeping yourself in shape and practicing your fighting style, is there anything in particular that Vorden would want to do with his time other than just that?
Not really. Vorden he's just kind of like going along with the flow at the minute. In training, he's gone through a few different shields in a short space of time, like in the last few weeks, and he's got a really nice one, and he's also got a crossbow that works. So he's just going to spend a bit of time getting accustomed to actually using those. Yeah,
just enjoying the new toys. Yeah, it's like
praying the D&D gods bless my dice rolls.
Exactly, but cutting into that, but with most of Vorden's week just like dedicated to training, Vorden will gain, as Navani did last week, or not last week, but the last downtime, will gain a point of inspiration for essentially just dedicating his time to practicing. That's his bit of reward. But in between that training, you haven't been sleeping very well. Worse than usual. You're not a man who sleeps particularly well anyway. And one night, a few nights into the week, just after a particularly kind of vigorous training session, really got your adrenaline up. As you lay your head down to rest that night, you find yourself gripped by a very, very intense, nightmare. You feel it before you see it. There is a tremendous heat. You feel it against your skin. You feel it just all over, but mostly it's all along your front. And then your eyes open to the nightmare, and just the world is red, just red, orange, a glow of flames. You see buildings, squat buildings, a small mountaintop village, just completely ablaze amidst the snowy mountains. There are men, women, children screaming, just running. You see one running to the east and to the west, but you see most of them are running away from a figure in an iron mask. It's a featureless iron mask, and with a sword, he is just moving like a demon, a man possessed, just weaving through these screaming villagers and just cutting down one after the other. There is a man, looks like a blacksmith, is desperately trying to get away. He's got a woman by his side and a small boy. This masked figure just barrels towards him. He pushes the woman and the boy out of the way, and this masked figure cuts the back of his ankle, his Achilles tendon. The man drops. He tries to bring up a hammer that he had on his belt, a blacksmith hammer, and he raises it up, but the hammer falls, and so does his hand, as it's just cut off at the wrist. And then he just is screaming, Thera, Jonath, run. And then the blade goes through the back of his throat, and he's silenced. And with that, everything goes dark, but you can still feel the heat, feel the flames on your skin. You can still hear the screams. And there's just like, if you look at a light and you close your eyes, there's that sort of colored after image. It's that, but just in red. There's a sort of an after image, blurry silhouette of this masked man. And then with that, you wake up and you feel sweat on your skin. And, you feels like you're sweating from the heat, and you kind of panic as you wake, feeling sweat on your skin and the heat. But then you realize that it's ice cold, and you're just in a complete cold sweat. And yes, this nightmare, you feel like you've had it before, but it's very vivid, but you don't remember having it. You don't consciously remember having it before. As you just sit up in bed, it is morning, and
I imagine Vorden might be a little bit, let's say, standoffish and snappy that day.
Yeah. So
Gordon went through all that silently. Holy crap! Oh, Gordon, that's stoicism at a whole new level.
Yeah, that is. Yeah, exactly. That's our Vorden. But yeah, so some of you, for the week, you will have noticed that Vorden is, particularly for the earlier half of the week, is, as you say, snappy, grumpy, sort of tense, on edge, and then he really starts kind of laying into his training and really focusing on that. But Doril, during this time, has also been doing his own training, and has been sparring with his mentor and trainer, Geros Goldmill. And I believe, Boyd, you're saying, is Doril trying to get a fight in? A prize fight?
Yeah.
Cool. So just to simulate that, kind of like we did the last time. Will you give me hang on now. Will you give me an athletics check?
Have you checked Discord? I have sent all those through.
Oh, really? Shit, I didn't. Oh,
You're all good.
my internet was being really crappy, so I closed Discord down to save my poor bandwidth.
I don't blame you.
I'll pull it up. Hang on. If it's loading. But would you just? I know it's been a pain in the ass.
It's all good.
What was the athletics check? Because it's
Okay.
still booting up Discord.
So, let me see, the athletics check was a 12 plus. Ooh, bear with me. I didn't have athletics per 12 plus 5, so 17 for the athletics.
Okay. Yeah.
And then there are 3 attack rolls, and they're
Yeah.
23.
Oh, yeah. I've got my Discord up now.
Yeah.
Sorry. Yeah. Sorry about that. I was just Okay. So. Yeah. So let me just. Okay.
Nice rolling.
Yeah. So for the week, yeah, it's it's been tough. You had your big bout. Your last big bout. You had a fight with Albert Ronlin.
Yeah.
This big guy that is this big. They call him that. He's got a big beak of a nose, but he's like really hairy. He's a human guy. And it was quite a big upset. You fought this guy. People didn't expect you to win. You won. It's probably upset a lot of people who'd bet against you. And since it's not been too long, so in that period, it's kind of been difficult to get like a good high-profile fight. Things are sort of readjusting and resettling, but you have gained a bit of reputation since. So there is this guy who's eager to challenge you. His name is actually Egon. Egon Gelt. He is strangely, he's actually an elf, but he's kind of very he's kind of big and rangy. He kind of has like he's got great reach, so it's an interesting fight. And in the course of it, Doril is successful. He does manage to knock this guy out. It's an interesting bout where this guy's got a lot of reach, and Doril is he's a lot of times he's even getting under him, and it's just a lot of body shots. But it's actually quite interesting to watch. The purse isn't quite as big as the last one, but you do net yourself another 30 gold pieces.
Okay.
It's in a slightly smaller venue than before, but this has, it was a good fight. It drew a lot of attention. The people that were there really enjoyed it. You can feel there's the buzz around Doril is kind of continuing, so that has also been very successful. But after the fight, you are, bandaging yourself, and sometimes, as you like to do before and after a fight, you're having a little. You had a little thumb through a well dog-eared book that you have, which tells the tale of the adventurer known as Gamma the Mighty, or Mighty Gamma, who was this famous, big, strong, essentially like the same thing, a pugilist. Is why you wanted to become a pugilist. Is this man who fought with his fists. He had was famed for this. His right hand would become like a boulder. That's why you called yourself the boulder. He could coalesce elemental earth around his fist. And he was from Ganyu, the deserts to the south. Gamma the Mighty, or Mighty Gamma. And I was reading that Geros, your mentor, is patching you up. He's a huge human man, a bit flabby, but still muscular underneath. You can tell he is still very powerful, but much older now. His golden hair, or once golden hair, is now silver, and he's still got this big sort of flowing, sort of biker mustache, that kind of like connects up to the mutton chops. He's looking at you, and he says, You did well, son. Very well. I think you're almost ready. And this is something he said numerous times. He said it with the last fight. His tone is always a little more serious each time he says it. You don't know what he's referring to, but he's always, you're almost ready, for what? He says, yes, you're almost ready. He puts a hand on your shoulders, but you must be patient. As my old master told me. You think you can hold in there another round?
I think I've got a few more than that in me.
Aye. Patience is a virtue, Doral. Not all in this world are as good-hearted as you. And not all would wield the power and potential you possess for such altruistic reasons. How is your aunt doing, by the way?
Oh, she's all right. I visited her the other day. She's doing grand.
Good. He smiles. Good. Well, I'll see you first thing tomorrow morning. Just because you're a brown cloak now, I don't think you can get out of training. And he's, he starts sort of putting the equipment away. And as we fade from Doral and his bit of downtime, we move to Pouches, who I believe wanted to do a little bit of research.
Just before you do Pouches, though, did everyone else hear the voice go weird there?
Yes.
That was so cool.
really?
It added to the whole creepy end of that conversation.
Yeah, it did.
Apologies if I'm going to be apologizing for my internet all night. Yeah, Pouches is
he's got a few things on the list. He's going to probably sell some of the stuff he got last week, do a little work, and do a little research.
Yeah, do a little dance, make a little love. Just in general, get down tonight. So he, so Pouches also in this time has been going off, searching around the underground libraries of Mindhelm to try and find some information on what are sometimes called the underways, the vast network of sewers and underground caverns and sort of the underdark and strange things beneath the city, of which there are many, many layers. Some say countless, endless layers. So, Pouches, would you give me an investigation check, please?
So good at those. And this is not sarcastically.
Yeah, that is genuine.
12. I don't know why I rolled with advantage there.
Let me click on. Yeah, it's still. I mean, look, you're you've done this a lot. You know where to follow the signs, and you can speak Arcana Obscurus, otherwise known as Scrawl or Scratch, which is sort of like thieves' cant for Mindhelm's underground wizards and other mages. You go to one of your usual peddlers of tomes of an arcane variety, and unfortunately he doesn't have anything since the last time you saw him, anything new on the underways. So maybe a little bit frustrated there, but he does have something else that you were looking for, which it doesn't look like anything groundbreaking, but it is a text which you haven't seen before, which speaks about the Shanri necklaces, which are, for those who don't know, or in this world, elves outside of their native homeland must wear these magical necklaces called a Shanri necklace around their neck. Otherwise, if it is ever removed, from their person, they will lose their sort of elven, anti-aging properties. So an elf cannot exist outside of their homeland without aging at a more sort of human rate, without a Shanri necklace on. And if one is destroyed, that's it. There's no getting another one, 21's knowledge at least. So this is a text on the Shanri necklaces, and as I say, it doesn't look like it's anything, groundbreaking, or that some ancient lost tome. It is one you haven't seen before, so it could prove promising in gleaning some information if you were to sit down with it when you get a bit more time.
Okay, so I'll take that.
Yeah, and he's going to charge you a gold piece for it.
I'll quite happily pay that.
Yeah. Oh, sorry, 2 gold pieces. Sorry, that was something else. The price just doubled. So, in addition, Pouches is going to be doing some work with the middlemen, the smugglers of Mindhelm, and he's done this work before. He did it during his last downtime to essentially try and appraise and identify some magic items for them, either ones that they have brought into the city or trying to take out. So, Pouches, could you give me 3 history checks, 3 investigation checks, and 3 arcana checks, please?
Okay, let's start with the history.
Mm-hmm.
20, 24, and 9.
Cool. Okay, investigation.
21, 23, 26.
Cool.
And then 3 arcana. 11, 11, and 16.
Okay, so the first item is, it looks like a candelabra, or I'm not sure if it's actually called a candelabra, if it's just a single, I suppose it's just a single candlestick.
Yeah.
It's made of nicely, it's silver. It looks a little grubby, but if you were to, it would polish up nice. It doesn't have any actual dirt on it. And in the top is essentially a glass carving of a candle. There's not an actual wax candle in it. And upon inspecting it, you figure out that there is a command word, and it's essentially just has a continual flame spell built into it. So you speak the command word, and it's this, it's a continual candle. Produces quite a bit of light. So the middlemen, having for your services rendered, they will pay you your usual 20 gold pieces as a fee for your work for, essentially unlocking, the potential of the item. The next thing is a very interesting looking puzzle box. It is made out of what looks like brass, and it's very intricate, and eventually you do figure out its configuration, how to open it. But to the best of your knowledge, there actually, as far as you can tell, isn't anything magical about it. But it's still a very fine piece, and is worth 10 gold pieces to them, for your efforts. Obviously, there's a bit more of a premium on something if it's magical. And lastly, there is it just looks like a regular stone, but it's veined with white. So it's like a gray stone, but it's polished, and it's or it's not polished, it's matte, but it is perfectly spherical. It's been ground to be perfectly spherical. And after sort of messing with it for a while, you run your fingers over it. It just looks like this very smooth, opaque stone. But eventually, you cast Identify, and you look through some of your research materials and some of your reference materials, and you figure out that what this is an item that's capable of storing a single memory in perfect detail. So you don't have to remember the memory, exactly. You just have to sort of be aware of the memory, and you can, draw the memory into the stone, and then when you speak the command word, the stone will go clear, and then it will sort of project the memory in perfect detail into your mind, and they will also give you 20 gold pieces for that one.
Before I kind of hand that back, do I figure out the command word?
Yeah. I mean, yeah. You know the command word because you have to. If you're demonstrating to them,
I speak the
Suggestions from
command
chat?
word.
It is. Huh?
I said I'm going to speak
Sorry,
the
it cut out
command
there.
word.
Sure.
I want to
wondering
see
if
what
anyone in the
memories.
chat was going to tell us.
Yeah, Chad, what is the command word? But yeah, I wanted
Yeah.
to see what the memory is inside the stone, just out of curiosity.
Oh yeah. Mm-hmm. Do we wait for the command word? Do we make him say it?
Let's see if Chat says anything first. We'll give him a New York minute.
Pensive.
Yeah.
But we will. Yeah, we will. Grofona will shortly be rounding back to Andy.
Well,
We'll find out what Andy was doing.
and then in the other stuff, I wanted to sell off all of the magical blood, guts, and gore that I had harvested over the last week. I'll sell that off to the
Oh,
middleman
yeah,
at the
okay.
same time.
Sorry.
Sure. And let me.
We have Abracadabra, Pensive, and a very loud "Hey you."
I personally like Hey You.
Yeah. Yeah, I like hey. Yeah. So pouches. You can speak the command word.
Yep.
Yeah. Go on. Yeah, you can speak the command word.
Hey You.
As you said, one of the middlemen turns around. He's like, "Yeah, what?" And it's the stone goes
And he just
clear.
sees like pouches like with glowing eyes and this glowing stone and is like, what the
Oh.
fuck?
Yeah, his forehead is like a window into his brain. It is a memory of a human man, brown hair. He's bouncing a child on his knee. They look quite similar. Looks like a man bouncing his son on his knee. You're not sure if this is the boy's memory, the man's memory. When it is just a tender moment between father and son, presumably a happy moment, perhaps the last happy moment that one or more of these people shared together. We make we have to make a wisdom save to see if Pouches gets teary-eyed.
Yeah, probably true.
Is he that affected by his orphan status?
He rolls a
has he gone
19, so
too
he is
hard?
stoic.
His heart is been turned to stone.
Deep down, he feels a little bit, but he manages to hide it well.
Yeah, he's used to it, And actually, as you you bring these so all the things that you had gathered, all the little bits and pieces, some of them have started to go a little bit ripe, but they will they will actually give you 45 gold pieces for the lot, or that's the price that's quoted to you after you basically approach the kind of your big contact in the middlemen, which is actually, I'm going to assume that Pouches did this before he started appraising things for them. When he arrived, he was like, "Hey, I've got this stuff to flog." And your main contact in the middlemen is this human woman by the name of Briona Belmont. Although, she doesn't actually look human now. You've heard that she's human. You assume that she's human. But right now, she looks sort of elven. She has pointed ears. It looks almost like, you're not sure how she does it, whether it's because as far as you're aware, she's not magical. It seems like maybe some sort of contouring of, makeup on the face. Her hair is a different color than the last time you saw her. She is a sort of a master of disguise. And she's standing there next to this short, tubby human man who's got a little scroll and parchment. He's sitting at a desk, and they go through all these things with you and offer you the 45 gold. Should you take it before you start getting to work on your appraisal of the magic items?
I'll accept
I don't
that.
know if he's going to try and bargain them.
No, 45 gold is a lot of money for Pouches. He's quite happy.
Yeah.
So that's the blink dog saliva, the cockatrice gizzard, the Grimishka blood, the vial of snake blood, and the vial of fire snake teeth.
Yeah. So,
and I'll offer them the loot as well and say, how about this for an extra 2 gold?
Yeah, sure. She's, appraiser. Now, Briona Belmont does nothing by half measure. She looks through all the stuff thoroughly and consults with her little aide there. But she's a very serious, methodical woman. When she's happy to shake on that 2 gold, and as Pouches goes off, then at this point, that's where he goes and does all his appraising and identifying of the magic items. But then Andy, during the week, are you fidgeting with your Oathkeeper band that has bound you to the Brown Cloak service?
So while she wants to rush headfirst in there, and she did consider using the fire chemical stuff we found the last day to try it, and then she thought about that carefully and decided she'd rather not burn her hand. So she's going to hold that one in reserve. So rather than trying to pry that thing off, she has gone with her smoking egg, about the size of your head, to one of the contacts she knew from the middleman from back in the day, who she knows traffics ingredients and things like that, to see if she can offload it.
Yeah. So in a similar place in this sort of it's sort of a little back alley basement operation you've been to many times, and actually you two you walk into a room and there's a tubby little human man there pottering around with parchment and going over like a large map, and she has these sort of essentially like rulers, is also Briona Belmont, who's standing there in a dark blue cloak around her shoulders, long blonde hair, elven ears, and seeing you come in, she just kind of looks over, looks under her eyebrows at you and is sort of just looking at you expectantly.
I give her like a little kind of shy, sort of like don't kill me wave. And then while I'm approaching, I'm digging in my bag to try and pull out the egg.
Yeah, and as you approach and you whip this thing out, she is uncharacteristically kind of raises an eyebrow. This big smoking like black like obsidian egg, which still it's quite hot to the touch. You're gonna have to wrap your cloak around it to hold it. I mean, it's not immediately burning your hand or anything, but with the cloak around it, it's like carrying a hot pot through oven gloves. And she kind of is looking at it, and goes over it, and she taps the tubby man on the shoulder, and she's just like, I'll have one of our analysts take a look at that. Where did you find it?
I came
No,
across it.
you know what? Don't tell me.
Probably for the best.
And as she says that, a door opens on the side, and Pouches is ushered out by this tubby man. And Pouches, you see Andy there also in the middleman's den. There's I believe the first time that either of you knew that you both knew.
Andy's going to have opened her
middleman
mouth to go, what? And then she's going to stop herself and just blink at Pouches a few times.
Yeah. And she's just standing there holding the big smoking egg from the alchemist's lab.
Pouches is going to be like, I see you decided to flog that here of all places.
Hail fellow. Oh God, no, that's too late now. Okay. Yeah, we're better to flog it. And then she's going to try and do a little like a shimmy sideways to sort of like block the egg from sight a little bit, even though it's obviously far too late for that.
I'll just be like,
Briona, Belmont is just like, it's like looking between the two of you. What's going on?
I think I've got quite a decent working relationship with her, so I'm like, don't worry, we just know each other from some private enterprises we've been on together. And then I'll
your work as brown cloaks, yes.
Yeah, pretty much.
Yeah, she's like, I don't. Yeah, she doesn't give a shit. She's like, it's not like she knows you're not gonna. This isn't some undercover sting. She knew both of you before you became brown cloaks. Yeah, because as Andy, as a thief before, would have you and your kind of boss in the Potters would mostly have dealt with Briona. So, Pouches, will you give me a nature or an arcana check? As the arcana would maybe be a bit more difficult. Obviously, if you have any knowledge of nature, it will be.
I'm gonna go with the arcana just because like nature's not my vibe.
Yeah.
And arcana is like my much stronger skill. 9.
Oh.
The dice were not with me.
Really, you're really not sure how to value this thing. Let me just. So, Briona kind of looks it over. Go around. She says, "I'll give you 60 for it. 60 gold pieces." It says to you, Andy.
60. I've never even seen one of these before, so that has to be wicked rare, right? She's she hesitates as she goes to look, and then she looks back at the egg, and kind of taps it a little bit, and she's like, "This has to be wicked rare. Can't be worth that little." How about
give me a persuasion? Yeah, sorry, go on.
60 and a name.
And Patch is going to be listening to this, but he's
Roderick,
also going to be like,
what are you?
he's going to be like flipping through a book, trying to figure out a bit more of an accurate valuation still.
Mm-hmm. Yep, sure.
You must surely know somebody who works with the magics, particularly on metal. I'm looking for something of an expert, So 60 and a name, and the egg is yours. I'm discreet.
40 and a name, and it doesn't get back to me.
50 and a name. And I
45.
will be a soul of discretion. 48. Come on. I'm a brown cloak these days, for God's sake. Help a girl out.
She says 45 and puts her hand out. You can give me a persuasion check for 50.
16. And he's rocking the big doe eyes.
Yeah, she's 50 and she shakes your hand. So she's like, well, I don't have one on me, but next, come and see me. I don't know. Give it a week. And, come back and see me. She's like, right now, I'm busy. And she kind of, shoes Andy. Shoes Andy and Pouches away, because this is the end of Pouches as his day of work, or a few days of work with the middlemen.
So Andy is going to leave, somewhat disguising the now more chipper step she has, since she feels that went well. Probably not as well as she thinks it did, but she got what she wanted. And on her way back today, she's going to have stopped by her fisherman friend. And since it's now later in the week and she's noticed that Borden in particular has been like on a bit of a bender all week, and clearly not feeling great, she's going to give him her fish today. So she's going to give him like a little gutted fishy wrapped up in she's going to find him in the training yard and kind of like half chuck it at him and go, and then walk on. At some point later that week.
Flinging a wet fish at someone.
Vorden will mumble something, just like a jumble of noises in return, but they clearly do mean thanks. But you can tell he's like struggling to say to show his gratitude.
Cool. So then, towards the end of the week, Vorden, after, it's a couple days after you first had that nightmare, and it's just a night you couldn't sleep. So the day you've been running on no sleep, you had.
I just got to interrupt you for this.
Whole,
Chat says magic official.
Very good.
Nice.
1d4 plus 1 slime damage.
yeah, exactly. So, you just had a crappy night and you work a whole shift. And at the end of it, clocking off for the night, and both Navani and Pouches are off duty now as well. They also just got off their own shifts. Doril is on a night shift. Andy is asleep after having worked a long one, so she's sleeping it off. Doril is actually on patrol with Arnold at the moment, but it was a long one, so you want to drink, but you don't want to go to the Cloaking Club, which is the Brown Cloaks bar in the Drains. It's just, change of pace somewhere else. So you head to this bar called the Twisting Antler with Pouches and Navani, who could also do with a little R&R. And it's bustling in there, it's quite busy. And as you're all sat around, sharing a drink, complaining about, captain and sergeants and training and, the meals, and looks, maybe middle-aged, a dwarven man, buzz cut hair, scruffy black beard, sidles up to the table, and he kind of will hunch shoulders. He says, mind if I join you?
Vorden just looks at Is it Pouches and Navani? Or Dural Navani? Who's with me again? Sorry.
Oh, sorry. Yeah, Pouches and
It is
Navani,
Pouches
yeah.
and Navani, just making sure. And kind of like just shrugs and looks for them to respond because he's like doesn't care either way.
I'm gonna give this guy like a bit of a look over and see if I can determine any motive of why he seems to want to join us.
Sure. Give me insight.
Really good at this skill. 15
Ooh.
with a +0. So
Ooh, he seems he's kind of focused on Vorden. He seems to it's like he seems, I don't know, eager to drink with you, or it's difficult to tell. It's not a lot to go on, at the moment. He does seem a little like twitchy, and he seems a bit twitchy, but he sees you eyeing him, and he's like, forgive me, I saw you. And he's a Vorden. He was like, I was there on the Wainlight Festival in Sweetwater Square, and those animals, monsters, got out of their cages, and you all, fought them off, and then I saw you, sir, at the front of the crowd, and I just, I just wanted to say thank you, and if it's all right, I just wanted to share a drink with you. And he's got a flask, just like a simple, a little leather sort of like hip flask. He's like, if you'd share a drink.
Vorden brightens up a little bit, not sort of like too visibly, but he sort of recalls what happened back then, and the shenanigans that went on in the alleyway with those cats. Just cheers him up ever so slightly, and he nods and says, why not, sure.
He offers you flask.
Oh, he offers me the flask.
Yeah, he wants it because he's like not the ale, he's like, the strong stuff.
Okay.
Father was a brewer.
Did he drink some first?
Not that you've seen.
Vorden wants to sniff to see if Vorden knows what alcohol's supposed to be like, because he's been around it quite a bit.
Give me a perception check.
Perception. Yes, I am. This is my strongest skill by far. What?
I mean, there's a very strong like pong of alcohol off this thing, it's like paint thinner.
After the week Vorden has had, he is very happy to drink paint thinners right now, and just takes a swig of it, and wipes the beard with the back of his hand and says, thank you, stranger. Here you go.
And he toasts, he's like, thank you, and he offers it to Pouches, like around the table.
No.
Just hand waving. Oh, forgive me. He's like, my lady, and he kind of to Navani. Navani takes a swig. Yeah, why not? Yeah, it's been a fucking hard week.
Sounds like
Almost
something
fucking
Navani would do.
Yeah, almost died. Well, there's a reason that, Navani's definitely a drinking buddy, Kinda.
Yeah.
The two of you take a drink, and he's like, well, like I said, I just would like to say thank you, and I don't have much to offer, so I thought my family tipple would, it's the best I could do, so I won't take up any more of your time.
Hold on, fellow. Aren't you going to have some and join us? You said drink with us, which means that you would drink some with us. No?
I've had a bit much already. taking
Okay.
a step backwards.
Fair
I'm gonna
enough.
say
Fair
now,
enough.
come now, friend, I insist.
He's
And I'm just gonna like watch him.
well, yes. Of course, I didn't just, you know, I didn't want to impose. And he starts bolting for the door, but the room is quite crowded, so this guy is trying to run. So will you roll me? Two of you roll me initiative just to see.
Okay.
Oh dear, let me get this up.
Okay, he got 13. Navani got 4 plus whatever Navani's dex is.
I got 23. I got a natural 20 on initiative.
Wow.
Pouches like before this guy start, like he's about to run before he does, So I'm not sure what you're doing. Are you just stepping in front of him? Are you casting at him?
I'm gonna watch as he begins to like run away. I'm just gonna be like point at a beer mug on a nearby table and just flick it into the side of his skull.
Yeah, so it's
I'm gonna be
right,
attempting
dex,
non-lethal. Yeah, I just want to knock him out.
Yeah. He fails, so give me damage.
A full 7 points of bludgeoning. 2 fucking natural ones on the damage.
But he's just he goes down. Yeah, and
I'm gonna then cross the room and like pick up the flask and give it a smell and see if something smells wonky.
Yeah, give me a perception check.
Five.
Oh, that's weird. It showed up as for some reason it was showing up as a 20 on, or maybe that was your 20 initiative or something.
Possible.
No, you're not sure, but you haul this guy up and you're not really sure, so you kind of take him in, you take him down you take him off to the cells and the barracks, but after about an hour, both Navani.
Can I quickly like frisk him as well?
Yeah. So he doesn't. He's got like a few coppers in his pocket, but he doesn't really seem to be like he's not carrying anything identifying. He's like purposefully doesn't really have anything on him. Almost.
Can I keep the tipple that?
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah. I assume you're bringing this all back to the barracks. But Vorden, will you give me a Constitution save?
I know it.
Well, Navani failed.
Oof, is that enough?
That is enough. So you see, you kind of feel fine. You feel like you get sick, but you're Vorden. You're like, disease ridden, and you've got a strong stomach.
He has the shits that night, and it's like nothing new.
Yeah, exactly. It was exactly the same as the night before. So after that fish that Andy gave you, Navani coughs. It's like she starts coughing, and then she coughs up a little blood. As she takes 2 necrotic damage, and then she starts, she's coughing and trying to figure it out. The medic in the brown cloaks going over her, clearly she's been poisoned, but thankfully you didn't all get poisoned. With her lay on hands, Navani is like, she kind of pushes the medic off, and she grabs it at her throat, and she pumps 5 hit points in, and essentially like getting rid of a disease or a poison, she cures and removes the poison from her system. So thankfully nobody was killed by the poison flask of whoever the fuck this guy was. And as Pouches and Navani and Vorden are pondering this, we cut to the docks. It is, it's still the same brightly moonlit night. And going for a stroll on the promenade down by the docks are Doril and Arnold, who you're just walking a beat, down by the docks, in silence or friendly conversation. I'm not sure, but pretty uneventful so far.
I mean, Arnott firstly is loving being down at the docks again.
Mhm.
There's always big smile on the face, sea air in the lungs, bit of a breeze. And I guess he'll just, look over at Doral and say, this is the life, isn't it?
I don't know, I'm pretty bored. I guess it depends on your outlook, really.
Oh, it's such a beautiful night next to the sea. What can't be better?
I like Arnold's optimism, but will Doral and Arnold, will you give me, assuming you're doing your job, will you give me perception checks? Or I don't know whether you're slacking off or not.
Yeah, no, I try and keep my eye on things. Bear with me, for some reason.
That'll be a 21.
Perception. There we go.
Oh, nice. Yeah, in the middle of that, during this, rather romantic conversation along the docks, by the sea under the moonlight, someone has, it looks like someone is a bit of a third wheel has shown up as Arnold. You kind of look, behind you, and there is just a figure just silhouetted. See somebody like walking towards you, and you've come to a bit of an intersection between buildings. So there's you're at a cross. And Doral, you look and you see rounding the corner, you hear, stones being kicked as two figures are coming down, walking down the docks towards you from the north. And you see these two walking up from the south. And each of you look at each other, and looking over each other's shoulders, you can see from the east and the west down these other two passages with some people who rolled horribly on their stealth. And there are, in total, you can see on all sides, there are six silhouetted figures bearing down on you. And you can see they're about 60 feet away from you at this point. They're about 60 feet away at this point. You spotted them early, but they all seem to be wielding, looks like blades and bludgeons, and all sorts of nasty instruments. And would you roll me initiative? The two of you. I'm just going to kind of do this bit, just theater of the mind.
Yeah.
These guys run for you.
I got 13. It wasn't a natural one. The cycle has been broken.
The cycle has been broken. Yeah. Cool. Yeah. Sweet. So I'm just gonna, all these guys. Oops, sorry. Yeah. So these guys, they actually both rolled for the two groups. So, as it stands, there are 6 guys. So there's like 2 behind you, 2 in front of you, and then 1 each coming east and west. But they are about 60 feet out at the moment. And they look like they are just trying to ambush you and bear down on you with weapons. So I think it's... Oh yeah, sorry, it's Arnold is 18, sorry.
Yeah, that's just at the edge of my long range. So I'm just going to draw a dagger and hold an attack for when one is within 20 feet.
Sure. Doral.
Interesting. I look at Arnold and say, I don't know, man. There's a whole bunch of them. There's at least 6. Maybe we should run and sing in the end of this whistle. And he does the same. Yeah, I prepare an attack for when a javelin would reach them. Sorry, I misclicked that. Well, that tells me the information I needed. It's 30 to 120 feet. So yeah, I wait for someone comes within 30 feet and throw it.
Yeah. So essentially, on the two groups initiative. So at this point, you see kind of sprinting out of the shadows. You can see as they start dashing, all of them are just dashing towards you. They use their full 60 feet. As the moonlight hits them, they are mostly human. There's a half orc. There is actually also there's a dwarven woman as well. But they're just some are carrying clubs, others are carrying like knives, dressed in dark leathers and hoods. Just you see a a thug when you see one bearing down on you trying to bash your brains in. So yeah, they're just barreling towards you, but they use their action to dash to get up to you. But Arnold will obviously be able to get a dagger off on one as it comes within 20 feet, and the same for Doral and the javelin. So attack rolls on. Are you aiming just one of the guys to the south? There's two guys to the south, two to the north, and then one each east and west.
Yeah, the first one to get in range. So it's
I'll just
we'll say 90.
Nice.
Yeah, it's a hit. So is the guy directly to the east.
So that's going to be 7 points.
Oh no, sorry, the guy to the south. One of the guys to the south. What? Sorry, how much?
7.
Yeah, so Arna just pulls up the dagger. This guy's like running. He's like, brings a club up. Arna just throws the dagger just right in between this guy's eyes, and the impact of it, he just gets, he just drops completely. The club clatters to the floor. So one down. The dagger hits him between the eyes. Doral?
Yeah, I threw off a javelin, taking aim at the same person that Arnad hit. And it is a 21 to hit.
Yeah, so the same direct. Yeah, so we'll say it's the other guy coming from the south. Yeah, 21. Yeah, it's a hit.
And that's a total of 7 piercing damage.
Nice. Same thing with this, like, the guy kind of comes up, he's drawing a blade. You see him, like, you throw the javelin because they really start sprinting quite quickly. But you end up throwing it, but it gets him when he's in, like, 10 feet of you. So it's just this, like, it just drives him back. It goes through his chest. And he just gets flown back onto the floor, the creaking floorboards of the docks. And as these two guys are sent flying back, and the path to the south of you is, left open, Andy is sleeping soundly in the barracks.
With dreams of Kitty Cat.
The off-duty room.
Going through her head.
Yeah. So... yeah, she's dreaming of Soot, the demon kitty cat, and a hooded halfling. There's no one else asleep in the off-duty room, and there's a hooded halfling just creeping up on your sleeping form. And just before it gets to the bed, he raises a dagger, holding it like over your heart. There's a slight creak. You feel that, like, when if you have your eyes closed and you feel someone in the room with you, and the hairs stand up on your back of your neck, and you just roll out of the way instinctively. He brings the dagger down, but it misses your heart, and you feel it scrape along your ribs. You take 3 points of damage. Piercing damage just carves down along you, and you look, and beneath the hood, you see your fellow brown cloak, Bren Willow, a sort of shifty-eyed halfling, trying to stab you in the heart. Do you roll me initiative?
Yeah, I will. Is that right? Seriously, Siren. 9.
But still, you're still on the back foot. But what's your AC?
15.
Oh, so yeah, he just misses. He was going down with the knife, but you see him, he flicks it up and catches it and then brings it across, but you back up against the wall. You feel it like it just tears the material, just as it goes like across. It tears just the outer portion of the leather. And yeah, what are you doing? Your turn. You're sort of, pinned up on the bed.
Much like I fell asleep in my armor because, yeah, of course I did. Because Andy, and too lazy to take it off. She's also going to obviously sleep with like a dagger under her pillow or somewhere close at hand.
Yeah,
so.
I'll say you won't have your bow would be like under your bunk, but yeah. The dagger, you'd have on you.
So yeah, I'm going to attack with the dagger.
Mm-hmm.
So that's 17 to hit.
That is a hit.
Nice.
Damage. No sneak attack, but
so it's 7 damage if we take the sneak back out. And then can I attempt to kick him in the nads as a bonus action?
I mean that would be an unarmed strike, but you can, if you want to do your cunning action, if you want to try and stick and move.
Screw him. He's been giving me those weird stares all freaking week, and I'm like being a creepy little dude, and now he's trying to stab me in my bed. Like, this is just uncalled for. So I'm aiming for the nads with a 16 to hit.
That's not cool. So rude.
16.
This is that also hits. Yeah.
Okay,
so,
and that does
7
4 bludgeoning damage.
There's 1. Should be 1. Fuck.
So plus 1 is the sneak.
Yeah. So you you bring up you draw your dagger and just kind of like instinctually again you carve up across him. You feel like cuts under his jaw, and as he staggers back, you kick at him. You kick him in the nuts. You kick him away. He kind of barrels over. So you spring to your feet. You're now on your feet in front of the bed, and as Andy kicks him back on the docks, this guy with the javelin in his chest hits the wood, and now they're the other 4. So the to the south of Arnold and Doral is all clear, but east, west, and 2 from the north. As these 2 guys attack Doral, or a 16 and an 18.
AC of 15 I have.
2 hits on Doral and 2 11s against Arnold. I'm gonna guess your AC is better than 11 right now.
Yep.
Cool. So sorry. 2 so 3, so it's a total of 7 damage. Doral is 2 of these guys get up there and they just start just clubbing, one goes on your shoulder, you feel it, you kind of just got your, you got your hands up, just guarding, one, you feel it clatter off your forearm, but Arnold, one of these guys swings a club, the other guy swings a dagger, but you just duck under the club and you bring your, it's scimitars, is it, or short swords? Oh, daggers, sorry, your daggers. You bring your own dagger up and, it just, kind of carves off of his, sparks fly. And it's now Arnold, and then Doral will be up after Arnold. So there's 4 of these guys basically, up kind of surrounding you, but there's the south is free.
So seeing as they you said that they're right on top of us.
They're now attempting to close you in because they dashed up to you and then.
Cool. So then with ranged weapon fighting, as part of any attack action, I can draw a weapon that has the thrown property.
Sure.
So I'm going to draw 2 daggers, and then the closest one that's wailing on Dural, I'm just going to try and stab him twice.
Sure.
1 main hand, 1 offhand. Ooh, that's going to miss definitely.
Yeah.
Offhand, that'll probably hit 18.
Yeah, the offhand hits. So
That's only 4 points.
okay. Oh, actually, hang on. Got to check something. Very nice.
No problem.
1 second. Yeah, no, but he is just like he's still. Oh no, no, sorry. He actually. So this can bring up the dagger, and he's focused on Doral, and you just jab it into his neck, because Doral's just next to you. Jab, and it pulls out. There's nothing for a second, and then there's just a spurt of blood, and he goes down. And Doral, he's now one guy, directly on top of you, trying to club you. 3 left in total.
All right, okay, 3 left in total. This has been a roller coaster ride. I have thought of 4 different things I'm going to do this turn. I am going to then just shout and punch the closest one.
Yeah, cool.
So
yeah, go for it.
A 10 to hit. No.
Cool. But oh no, shit! They
There's a miss.
They AC's 11 because they're wearing leather armor, but they don't have bonus. They're just like little scumbags. So I just misses. You hit the club, and it's just at the last second he brings it up. And as we're doing that, Andy, you've stood up, but Bren recovers, but he's still just wincing from the pain from the kick in his balls. So he gets a nat 1, and he kind of he stumbles, and as he does, you get, if you want to use your reaction, he kind of leaves himself open as he stumbles forward. If you want to try and take a pot shot with your dagger.
Oh yeah, for sure. So that's an 18 to hit.
That's a hit.
And that's 6 damage. I
Mhm.
have to figure out how to turn off.
Yeah, so
sneak
again,
damage.
it's just it just goes right into his ribs. He staggers back. He's not dead, but he drops his own knife just as his hand kind of just goes limp. He grabs the wound and his hand on the wall.
What the
he
hell, man?
starts-
What are you doing? Why are you
Starts-
are you attacking me? You little creep.
Starts staggering for the door.
Can I do a takedown? I don't know, like a launch myself at him and try to knock him down. And pound his head
Well, yeah,
into
on
it?
your turn now, if you want to. What I'll say is give me do a shove, so it's contested athletics. So you give me an athletics check.
Okay.
He got a 4.
There we go. That's a 20 on that 20.
Cool. So yeah, he's just completely bowled over. He's grabbing his balls. His ribs are bleeding. He's all fucked up, and he's just so sick of it. He's like, "What the fuck is going on?" And just runs and just tackles him to the ground. At that point, you hear, commotion from outside, and Arnold and Doral.
Can I continue my turn? I still had some stuff I wanted to do.
Oh shit! Sorry, Boyd.
I
Yeah.
only got to do 1 attack. So
Oh fuck! Yeah.
as a bonus action, I'm going to use one of my grit points and give him the old 1-2 and swing another 2 times.
Yeah.
So again, the one that I just missed, I'm going to attack him for another 10.
Oh,
And
fuck.
he shouts in frustration and attempts an uppercut at the same fellow for 7 and misses. Holy crap.
Motherfucker.
Boyd,
It's just-
you challenged the dice, and it is
I
your own
know.
fault.
It's just so distorted. It's just such a what the fuck, just what the fuck is going on,
I seriously, for a moment, consider asking this guy to join the pugilist school, but keep fighting.
Yeah. Arnold. Actually, these guys. they all miss because I was like, oh, I forgot to attack with them actually on that turn. But Arnold, it's back to another round. There's 3 guys left.
Yeah, so it's say I'm just gonna flip the dagger around, and the first or both daggers around. The first one I'm attacking, I'm trying to go non-lethal.
Yeah.
10's not gonna hit. 8's not gonna hit.
Unfortunately not.
Holy crap, this guy
so
can
they-
move.
I know this guy really does need to. But I know Doral, it's your turn again. This guy's just, ducking and weaving.
He screams even louder than he did before, and I'll attempt to hit the same guy. Let's see, an unarmed strike. 14.
As a hit.
Okay, and that's a 5 bludgeoning damage.
Yeah, and I'm gonna say +2 rage damage. It's just like frustrating. And again, the same thing. This guy just like you feel it, and Arnold, you hear it. This guy's jaw snap and dislocate on one side. And wait a minute, that wasn't his jaw; it was his neck. His neck just snaps. It's like he spins at the shoulder and he goes down. And the other 2 guys. They're all getting stabbed. It's a big melee, and they blink, and like there's only 2 of the 6 of them left, and there was only 2 of you to begin with, and Doral just like snapped this guy's head around, so they like,
and he's
start.
They
Disengage, and they
I
start running. Yeah.
Oh, they do they?
Yeah. They disengage and they start running, but they can't dash because they've.
Yeah,
they disengage, so they run 30 feet away. So, as after that, as they run, Andy, you see the door to the barracks, bursts open, and a couple more brown cloaks come in, including one of the sergeants, Velen Smith, also known as the Orc, big half-elf guy, because he looks like an orc. They come in, see the commotion. They're like, what the fuck's going on? And you're there with Bren, and they, you see you're both wounded, and they kind of like pull you off him, and they, start kind of, putting the 2 of you up. They call for the medic. And it's like, what the fuck?
In that typical fashion,
what's going on?
When a smaller person is pulled up and backwards by a larger person, I'm going to be like, my legs are flailing because I'm still trying to kick at Bren on the ground and be like, no, let me go. He attacked me. Get him, kick him, fucking kick him in the nuts, kick him in the head.
And he's like, look, he's like, whoa. He's like,
ball of fury.
Yeah. Velen also picks up Bren. He has the 2 of you in like one hand, and he's like, take him to the brig, and he starts, we're going to get to the bottom of this. He takes the 2 of you off, and with the medic is following along after you, and at which point,
could I have managed to palm an extra dagger? Because I would have had my second dagger, so can I palm that before they drag us away?
Conceal it.
I don't know what I just... Yeah, so basically just spirit it away.
Yeah, give me sleight of hand.
Sleight of hand. Come on, 11. That's one of my good ones.
Velen sees, he's like, put it down. He's like, give it here. He makes give him the dagger. And
very
as
typical.
You're being dragged off, Arnold
annoyed
and Doral.
Teenager pout.
Yeah.
Of course.
Arnold
and Doral, these guys are running. They're 30 foot out.
I'm going after them.
Yeah.
I only got 25 movement,
Yeah.
but I'll use my full movement, so I should be about 5 or 10 feet behind them, chucking a dagger at each one of their legs. Non-lethally,
Sure, go
of
for it.
course. Just trying to stop them.
Yeah.
15 for the first one, 23 for the second one.
Yeah. Both hit. Give me damage.
So sorry, that second one, it should actually be 9. I forgot to take thrown weapon, so it's 9 and 3.
Sure, 93. Actually, just was running these guys with the minion rules from 4th edition. So they just had, if you hit them, they go down. Arnold just throws the 2 daggers, and it's like they just jab right down, into these guys' calves, and you cut the Achilles tendon, and they just like they scream and they go down. They're not like knocked out, but they like land, and they're like crawling as Doral reaches them.
All yours.
Yeah, sort of out of initiative now, because I'm not going to be like, on their turn they crawl 5 feet,
Yeah.
or whatever.
Let's keep at least one alive.
Whoa! I don't want to be killing people for the crack. Like, we're getting them back. Two at least.
Two,
Look back
that's
at the one
fine.
I punched earlier as I'm dragging the body.
I think Anna just
Quite
saw
hard.
the look in Doral's eyes and was like,
Yeah,
"Let's
not
keep
getting in,
one."
not getting in the way. I just want one question.
You're really confused because just a second ago he broke a person's neck without a second thought, and now he's
Yeah,
genuinely upset at the scene he sees in front of himself.
Mhm.
all in self-defense.
I think it's just a bit of Doral sometimes forgets how strong he is.
Yeah, yeah. Arnold's definitely making a mental note of that. He's going to hear that snap for many, many nights to come.
Unless Doral was going to to knock them out. I thought he was in a bit of
No, not earlier. Not
a red mist.
Less of them, then maybe, but no.
So he again these guys are just kind of wailing. They're in pain. You get them up on their feet, and you drag them back to the barracks. At which point, just a little bit before all that, Vorden and Navani and Pouches had come back from the pub. Sorry, had come back from the pub, and everyone's just kind of gathered back at the barracks, trying to sort all this out. And kind of the following day, Andy's patched up. They tell you that they know it wasn't your fault. The others, obviously, people knew you were sleeping in there. Bren was supposed to be mucking out the latrines at the time. He shouldn't have been in there. And all of you are called into the quarters, or the office essentially of Captain Galloway, who looks like this. Sorry, 1, 2. Yes, this big old Captain Galloway, which is a big gruff guy with a peg leg. And he's like, well, got to the bottom of it, and apparently, after searching Willow, Bren, we're searching his house. Looks like he's been a butcher this whole time. Fucking scum. He spits on the ground. Well, looks like after you busted up the alchemist's lab, that they weren't too keen about that, and Bren identified all of you to his superiors, and well, they put the call out on you, and you acquitted yourselves well, and you all got out of it alive. But Bren, he's due to be hanged in a fortnight, and he'll be sent to the block in a few days. The block is a large prison out in the ocean, out in the bay of Minehelm. He says, look, but due to the breach in security, which Bren sort of not being found out as a butcher, obviously the fact that they failed in their security there, and as a result, all your lives were put in danger where they otherwise wouldn't be. Galloway gives each of you 10 gold pieces in hazard pay, essentially, and gives Andy an extra 5 gold because she was attacked in the barracks, and he seems visibly kind of, ashamed. He says, I'm going to be visiting that fucker's execution personally. I'll give him one thing. Butchers have been getting smarter since Miss Scarlet took over. Well, sorry about all this. Should never have happened. You have my condolences. And does anyone have anything to say to the captain?
Andy just took her gold pieces, looking increasingly scared as she heard what had happened, and has kind of slowly retreated to the back of the group in an attempt to fade into the brown of the cloaks around her.
I'm just gonna look at Navani and be like, "This is your own fault for drinking that shit."
It smelled okay to me. Oh, by the way, did we get paid for the last mission? That's what.
Oh yeah, we did. Well, this is at the end of the week. Everyone will get their 1 gold piece, their wages,
That's all
weekly
forward,
wages. And with that,
This whole time, sorry to interrupt. This whole time, Dural has been writing everything down in a ledger, and he says to Captain Galloway, "Is it all right if I'd be all? Can I go and watch Brains hanging?"
I wouldn't blame you. I'm going myself.
All right.
Any of you want to come are welcome. In fact, as Brown Cloaks, you have free entry to all public executions.
Because that's what you want. Public executions.
There has to be some perks to the job. Come on.
Yeah, exactly. You get front row seats. You're in the blood splash zone.
I mean, in the Middle Ages, executions were considered entertainment. So,
do we get little bibs that say splash zone? Like when you go to
yeah.
Or is that only for the beheadings?
Exactly. Yeah, unfortunately, you don't get the honestly, it's a bit like if you were to go and you see not that I go to the theater much, but it's like you go somewhere and you're right up close. Sometimes the front row seats when you're up on a stage, it's actually not great because you're watching the hanging and it's like the gallows are up there, so you kind of want to be back a little bit, a bit elevated. It's kind of the front row seats are actually kind of shit at a hanging.
Literally, if they lose control of their bowels.
Which do they do?
And on that note,
man, can we play a game with
the end of that very long preamble?
It's a bit much.
What was that, Boyd?
I just want a game with a sunshine lollipop setting. Can we play in Candyland or something?
That's it. We want you for the Lollipop Guild.
Yeah.
Oh God. In this world, I don't even want to know what the Lollipop Guild do.
Chat, why don't you tell us what you think the Lollipop Guild do in Minehelm? Also, if you've been enjoying the stream so far, please consider subscribing. I promise I won't talk about public executions so much in the second half, because I think on that note, we'll take an intermission there for 10 minutes. People want to go take a bio break, or just get away from me for 10 minutes. Perfectly understandable. So I think if everyone, we take our intermission there and come back with the next assignment.
See you all soon.
Cool. So see you all soon. 10 minutes.
Cheers.
Hey, everyone. Thanks for sticking with us. Or if you're just joining us, this is the Cloaks of Minehelm, D&D game from Penny Dragon Games about the scrappiest, shittiest little city watch in all the multiverse. And we just left our party off at the end of a very eventful week of downtime. There was training and black market deals and assassination attempts. Some very, some very blunt assassination attempts, perhaps, but the butchers aren't known for their subtlety or finesse.
Don't
mostly
forget
known
the
for wanton
Lollipop Guild.
violence. And the yes, was there? Yeah, I don't have the chat open. Was there
Yeah,
any-
the chat said, what? Let's see. DB Gibson said, first rule of Lollipop Guild is you don't talk about Lollipop Guild. Gabriel Hench said, I just know that the Lollipop Guild sucks.
Come
Yeah,
on.
I know.
That's a fabulous one.
So bad it's good. And O'Shutter photo,
Yeah.
we know it licks, but does it suck too? It just keeps getting better. So everyone's getting into the Lollipop frame of mind. Also, we Dirty 20 Live rated us with 8 viewers, so thanks very much for that. Appreciate it, guys. Thanks for the support.
Thanks very much.
That's very nice of them. Thank you.
Cute. Yeah, awesome. Thanks, guys. So I mean, the Lollipop Guild is now sounding like the first bit. It was like, yeah, you don't talk about Lollipop Guild, but the rest of that, it's starting to sound less Fight Club and a little more Eyes Wide Shut. It sounds like some kind of like swingers organization or something. After that,
Strippers Guild.
eventful downtime. So I believe Doral actually, along with Captain Galloway, is intending to attend Bran Willow, the halfling butcher, supposed brown cloak, but really a butcher, double agent, to attend his hanging, that will take place in in a fortnight. But but 3 days after all of that, it's actually the day before Bran is due to be moved from the brig to the block, to the prison. The group of you that are all gathered here, so all the group that were in. I mean, Arnold wasn't involved in the whole alchemist thing, but he was wrong place, wrong time. He was with Doral when they tried to whack Doral. So, but all of you present, minus Navani, who is off on another, just on another assignment, on another patrol, have been called in by Sergeant Smith, or also known as the Orc, who is this physically massive, big burly, thick-necked brute of a man. He looks the only thing that would give him away as a half-elf. He's got pointy ears, but otherwise he has just a big, broad nose that looks like it's been broken several times. Scarred knuckles. He's missing several teeth. Just a big, brow. Just an ugly brute, but he has a reputation as something of a teddy bear. And everyone knows that he gives half of all his wages to his dear old mum, and still goes down for, the Minehelm equivalent of Sunday dinner, every down for the roast. He's just a big teddy bear, but people call him the Orc because he kind of, with the pointy ears, it's but the only thing that elven about him. He looks more like an orc. So he has called you all in, presumably, for another assignment. And he's like, all right, morning officers. Well, got a bit of a doozy here. I'm afraid, basically, we've had someone go down to low tide, or missing as they always do. And I know we wouldn't normally retrieve the bodies. It's a bit of a foregone conclusion, but some fancy fool from up on Iborn Hill has gone down. Gods know what reason, and his daddy wants him back, dead or alive. So we gotta send some of you fine folks out to get him. Yeah, a bit of a run around, you know, but there we have it. And for viewers and for probably most of the party unfamiliar with Low Tide is the name of it's a part of the coastline or the kind of the beaches of Minehelm, which is a coastal city. It's a place, you know, it's I forget the exact term. I suppose I'm not sure if it's like a reef, but you know, it's very rocky. It's a rocky shoreline. It's very difficult to sail in. There's lots of hidden rocks below the waterline. It's a place where ships trying to avoid the eyes of the blue cloaks, the sort of nautical equivalent of the brown cloaks, will often attempt to make land if they're, for smugglers or things, for instance. Usually with pretty disastrous consequences. It's very difficult. You really have to know the waters, and even then, there's just freak currents and also underwater beasties that might pull you under. And also, there's a lot of shipwrecks out in the Bay of Minehelm. A lot of the shipwrecks and their cargo end up sort of washing up on low tide. So it has a reputation as a place to go for treasure hunters. And since in the drains, where low tide is, the poorest part of Minehelm, citizens are quite poor. So it's not too uncommon for someone very desperate and hungry, or perhaps someone who owes a lot of money to the butchers or some other outfit, will kind of go there as a last-ditch attempt to seek a bit of fortune, but virtually nobody, ever makes it back. But everybody thinks they'll be the first. So yes, as Venom has said, normally we'll go down there, but it's just like some noble born from Highborn Hill, the upper class part of Minehelm, as the name suggests, up on a hill surrounded by the walls of high walls, and it's also up there with the keep. But yes, Velen continues. He said some fancy lad from Highborn Hill named Derek Eldon decided to go down, looking for glory, riches. Apparently, according to acquaintances of his that came inquiring, he fancies himself an adventurer and explorer. His body we do have to retrieve, or else we're going to have even more shit coming down on us from up on the hill than we normally do. Now, the Heldens are powerful nobles, not maybe as much as they used to be, and even though this dead fella, because let's face it, he's dead, is only a cousin of the main branch, could still cause trouble for us if we don't sort it out swift-like. So, I hate to be the bearer of bad news, but looks like you might be on corpse retrieval down in low tide. Questions? Well, you should be all right, because Arnold here, as I understand, was a sailor, and he's, familiar with these parts. So, who knows? You probably make it back where he didn't.
I look at Arnold and then I look back to the sergeant. I'm like, but even at low tide, he's going to be below the water.
I'll ride on your shoulders.
He can
this is like a genuine question. It's like even Pouch is being mean. It's like him just being like genuine, like he's gonna be underwater. And like,
well, I mean, it's not all. I mean, he can stay on the beach, and if it looks like this poor sod's body's out in the water, maybe you can go wade out there. Or Vorden, you look like you could use a bath.
I have a question. Does not being able to swim exclude me? If I can't swim, do I get to skip this mission? Sir?
No, we got a pair of water wings, got a pair of armbands. No, it's low tide is, it's essentially, it does flood, but it's it's mostly beach and coast. It is traversable. They just call it that. Things tend to wash in and out onto the low beaches. And he says, but keep your wits about you. things lurking down there in the sand and the silt. But, I hate to do it, send you out there, but Captain knows that these fuckers, they might cause some issues for us. Suddenly we turn around and we don't have as much coin as we used to, and sure, you're all aware we didn't have much of that to begin with. So
We have coin?
yeah, somewhere
Where do you think our 1 gold a week comes from?
Exactly.
So Arnold would probably just want to make sure to get at least a decent description of the person. Derek,
Derek Helden.
Don't want to come back with the wrong course.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Well, we'll provide details. He's he kind of pulls out a bit of parchment. He's well, they said he's shoulder right on. Who filled this out? He starts like measuring his own shoulder, and then he's like, kind of imagining the guy that filled it out. He's like, he's about. And he kind of puts his hand up to Vorden, and like, he's about, up to about Vorden's brow line.
Does Vorden raise his eyebrows?
Yeah, Vorden just grunts.
Yeah, raises his eyebrows. No, he's not that tall. He's like, kind of dark blonde. That's what it says here. Clean shaven, clean, no beard. Longish hair,
Was he wearing?
Handsome, apparently, according to his father.
Not anymore.
What's he wearing? Last spotted in a black velvet tunic with some sort of studded leather armor over the top of it, carrying a rapier. No, sorry, carrying. What does that say? No, carrying something, a weapon of some kind. But yeah, he had bloody fool had the Elden family crest on it, boar, big old tusks. So he should be the most dapper corpse on the beach. So
Blonde, used to be pretty, wearing a tunic with a boar on it. Used to have blonde hair, now it's gonna look brown. Okay, cool.
Yep.
More importantly,
probably going to be more pale than normal.
yeah, there'll probably be more than normal.
More pale. Nobles never get in the sun.
More pale than
is he a human?
Exactly, yeah. Oh yeah. Well, sorry. Yes, I didn't mean to assume that he's human. I'm so used to people just thinking I'm human because I'm so pretty,
Well, there are other races than humans.
Yeah, he's human. I mean, he's a noble. Well, he's a noble. They're all kind of, we won't get into it. I got nothing against them. My father was an elf. No, my father was an elf. Scratch that.
I'm just gonna whisper out of breath.
Yeah, he said, well,
he misspelled orc.
Yeah, I'm looking at Tram and like mouthing tusk.
Yeah, I like
Yeah, he does. He really looks like an orc with human skin and no tusks. He's like, it's a massive. He's just huge for like the half. There's nothing elven about him, but he is.
I'm just gonna be like to Duran and be like,
well,
when are you and the sergeant gonna practice a bit of boxing and show us some moves?
My eyes look wide and I look at him.
Okay, boys, can we just go get the corpse already?
Maybe.
Enough of the dick measuring contest. Let's go. Fuck's sake.
Well, look, I might be I'm a big boy, but I've seen the young man box, and I never had his form in my days. I wouldn't like to face him in the ring.
I'm just gonna
I'll
be
tell you
like,
that
just
much.
make a fist for me quickly, and like then I like compare the size of his fist to the size of Durrell's head.
It's like just a big shove, you know. I've
Andy
got
has
tiny
gone
Donald
over to
Trump
the
hands,
door,
I can't.
and she's leaning on the wall near the door, like starting to tap a toe and be like, "Come on already."
Did you just say
That's
she
awesome.
tapping her toe, or did you mean he?
Oh, Andy's.
She? I didn't realize this whole time I thought you were playing a meal for some reason.
She's
Well, maybe 'cause
very
Andy-
indescript in that direction. but
Right,
she's
okay.
a tactic girl. And
Cool.
yes, she is
Oh,
very
yes.
tired of the measuring contest going on.
Right, time to go.
It is actually for viewers as well. Who might was yes, it is. Andy is officially Miranda. You know, is what's on the cert. You know, the versa. But yes, it's good old Andy.
Considering the amount of the cloak, the armor, and the fact that she is quite a slight figure, it is very hard to tell. In all fairness, what Andy
got
is.
an Arya Stark situation.
Yeah.
And an Arya Ari thing going on. So he's well, you know. I wish you the best of luck. You know, to be honest, I don't like to see good cloaks being. That's a bit of a, you know, I don't speak ill of the dead, but you know, I don't think his dear old dad's getting him back in one piece, and no shame in getting anyone else hurt, but
We'll put all the pieces in a basket.
yeah, such is the city, such is the way of things, you know. The highborn get what they want, don't they? Well, I wish you good luck. Give us a little salute, you know.
Yep.
I hope to see you soon.
Return the salute and then turn on his heel and get going.
Helly ho, let's go.
And
Andy's going to give the little salute, but as she moves the hand away from her head, she's kind of do a little finger wiggle wave type thing.
He catches, he chuckles. So with that, you are off to the last known. You can make your way to the last known sighting of this guy. He was spotted sort of walking down the beach, and at the moment you're up on kind of cliffs, and there are some very steep, winding paths. Arnold, would you give me a survival check, please?
Sure.
We're in the coast, so just remind me, with the favored terrain, does that give you advantage? Or I'm not sure with the updated the Tashas, is there anything in the optional class features that's changed? Favored terrain or
sorry,
anything?
my character sheet is just decided to hang. Let me just reopen it.
Let me just.
While Arnold is doing that, I'm keeping my eyes out for crabs in particular.
Oh yeah.
So
Bad
Of the
memories
giant variety.
of the giant variety. Yeah,
Yeah.
It's a common problem in medieval settings. Crabs.
crabs. Yeah,
so
out of control crabs.
So I rather went with the Natural Explorer from the Player's Handbook. While tracking other creatures, learn the exact number. It's just basically speed of travel, move stealthy at a normal pace, forage twice as much food, won't be a problem. I can't become lost except by magical means. So it's a straight roll.
Okay. Well, I think. Okay. So straight survival, but this is territory that you are familiar with. So.
Where is it? It's a 24.
Oh yeah. People are sort of like, everyone's kind of looking, and there's a number of, there are some other footprints and things. this isn't a completely up here. It's not down to low tide yet. It's not like this is a completely avoided area. People do come up here for any number of reasons. So everyone's kind of looking at footprints, but Arnold has just started beelining, like he's just following a particular set of tracks, and it takes him a few seconds before he realizes that like not everyone is a sort of a bit of a bloodhound like him in that way. Not everyone's a ranger, so he kind of is like, you realize then that
this
not
way.
everyone is following. Yeah. Yes,
Yeah.
Arnold is very
I say to
confident.
the others, I'm following him. He seemed to know what he was doing the other day in the alley.
Yeah, I'll
I'm
wait.
doing
I'll wait
after
for
that.
everyone to catch up, and then nose
I'll
down.
just like catch up.
Can Andy attempt to skim a stone?
Sure. The water is like quite far out at this. I mean, it's a few hundred feet away from the cliffs at the moment.
Oh,
Or
so less skimming a stone and more
maybe
just chucking a
200
stone
feet.
at the water. That's as
Yeah,
hard
yeah.
as
You
you
just
can.
lob it.
If I had spell slots to fuck with right now, I would be doing something.
Yeah. Just give me a strength check.
Strength check. There we go.
Oh, and obviously, just in case it was clicked on your sheet, obviously, if you cast, catapult, or if you expended any resources during the downtime, obviously that's reset.
15 for
Yeah.
my stone throw.
Yeah, I mean, you clear probably a good probably a good 80 to 100. Just this, like you just lob it, over its sails out. It doesn't reach the water, but it seems to land at the beach below. You can't, unless you want to lean over the cliff. Can't see the beach below. But if you were to, you would see it start against the sand, but the sound is lost with the crashing and lapping of waves on the rocks.
I think she knows by the trajectory it took that it didn't make it to the water, and she's just a bit like, boo.
Because you can see the water, so you would
No, that it
presumably
didn't
you
go
would
there.
watch in the water. Yeah.
Yeah.
So as sorry, 1 second here. So as Arnold leads you down the path, you emerge. Now some of this is I did my best for like line of sight. I suppose Arnold would be, I suppose, kind of up front, but I've taken all your tokens. You should have control of them because I copied them from the last map. So you're all up there in the top left of the map. If you want to grab your tokens, and I did take the liberty of I picked a sort of a sea green for Arnold.
Yeah, that's 100%.
Just I wasn't green for ranger, sea green for the sea. So
Nope,
obviously
can't
you're
control it at all.
Ah, really?
Mine's working fine.
So's mine.
I say that as I'm bouncing it around the map.
Like, I could see pouches was in a little square. I was like, okay, it's possessed. And yeah. Oh, sorry, I forgot to turn individual volumes down. Let me know if that music is too loud.
So yeah,
great.
Andy's sort of
100%.
towards the back because she's playing with stones basically. So should she be on the cliff or between the two cliffs on the sand? If she's hanging
No, yeah,
towards the
sorry, I
back?
should say it'd be between the two cliffs. I mean, the cliffs are, it varies, but they are in some places like 80 feet high, 50 to 80 feet, generally. So it's just it's narrowed. The path is narrowed, and then it is sort of emerged onto this stretch of beach. The beach does it does stretch off to the left, but it seems mostly barren. And Arnold has picked up the trail, and although the footprints are fading, they fade when we kind of get down to about here. They did seem to be veering off to the east, but at that point they've become more difficult to track. as they have been kind of, subsequently washed away. As it came down onto this flat stretch of beach. And as I say, the waves are lapping, and I can remove more of this, but some of the areas like, here and here where it is still masked are because in particular those rocks are tall enough to block the line of sight. They would be between sort of, 6 and 8 feet tall, some as tall as 10 to 12 feet. But otherwise, you can generally see kind of clear across the beach unless one of these larger rocks is getting in the way.
Oh, it doesn't take much of a big rock to block my view.
That is true, yes.
It doesn't take much of a small rock to block your view.
Look, you can see over some very large pebbles.
Hey, enough of it. There are small folk. Deal with it.
So yeah, I've been
Striking a nerve with the
Arnold would just, turn around at that point and say, well, tracks are disappearing, time to start looking. He has to be around here somewhere.
Is this like a sheer cliff or is it like tiered and terraced?
It is largely, it's supposed to be sheer, but I liked the look of those on Incarnate, so
It's one of my favorite steps.
Yeah, the kind of shale,
Break.
I suppose, looking cliff. Yeah, so
because I was thinking maybe can I try and climb up there?
Yeah, Andy's wondering, can she climb as well to get a bit of a vantage point?
I mean, you could. I mean, there's going to be, little pits and things. I don't think it wouldn't necessarily come out on a plateau large enough to, in most cases, stand with a lot of room. But you could probably perch up.
Pouches does not trust his climbing ability. He'll just like move forward out onto the beach.
Yeah.
Like.
What about these rocks ahead? How tall are they?
These ones would be between 2 to maybe 2 to 4 foot tall. Varying, some of the larger ones would be kind of 4 foot. Not really enough to fully block the view for most of you. And also all around the beach, there are, you can see like a couple of them here, are pools of water, quite like mostly clear water. It looks like just, almost like puddles where the beach washes in and it's deposited little pools of water in indentations in the beach. And you can see that the beach actually to the far east, the beach, obviously it does continue. It continues, stretches on for, another, what is that? 5 by, what's he? Hang on. 1 second. Stretches on for another. I can't think. What's 40 times 5? 200, right?
200.
Yeah.
Stretches on for another 200 feet. So it's about 200 feet across, and it seems to stretch on for another 200-300 feet. It starts to get, hazy.
Yeah, Andy will try to climb the rock.
I'm gonna try and like run and jump onto this rock here. Well, not like run, but like climb up onto that rock.
Yeah, just
get a bit of a look.
Not skip, but kind of just hop. Yeah, I mean, obviously, I'll just kind of, you can see, the, what is it doing that? Sorry. Sorry, guys, the reveal tool is being a bit strange. You can see, I'd say if you just stretch, you can probably see more of this. It kind of comes up. I'm just doing it kind of very roughly, kind of based on the grid. There's another pool of water there. It's kind of coming up to this rock. Up here. Apologies if it's a bit crude.
Did we lose music, or is it just me? Out of curiosity.
Oh, is it? Oh, you know what? Sorry, that one wasn't looped.
Oh, just in
It
case
wasn't-
there was something wrong with my audio.
No, it was. I forgot to click on the loop. Yeah, so it's
Yeah.
obviously just ended there after the initial track. So you could probably see as well. Yeah, a good bit, sort of, a bit more of the beach. Oh, sorry, guys. Extending, outward.
Forden shouts over, do you
I'm
see
just trying to
anything?
get it,
Just sand, and more sand, and water, and rocks. Nothing exciting.
If Andy's going to try and climb the cliff,
give
is
me
it
a
acrobatics
perception
or
check.
athletics?
It would normally be athletics, but you're kind of. Give me acrobatics. There's a couple of places you could probably hop, to a bit of a cat. Like
11.
Reflexes.
No, that's my roll. Yours is 17.
17. Oh, okay.
That's
I was
better.
wondering.
Oh yeah.
Wait, a +2? No, it's definitely more than a +2.
Oh, that's perception. Yeah.
Yeah, that's my
So,
perception.
Yeah, you do. Yeah, I'm sorry. I'm just going to be rude and grab Andy,
Sand.
and you'd actually get up to say here you're about. It's coarse and it gets everywhere. Andy
dear.
is about 20 foot up.
Come on,
at
guys,
that
don't
point,
criticize
and
the best
Andy,
line
you
of
can
Star
see-
Wars.
Oh wow, you're gonna piss quite a couple of people off with that one.
Yeah, I know. Poke the bear. It's
Yeah.
fun.
I mean, from up at that vantage, at like Andy, you can just. Sorry, I'm just trying to. You can just see everything.
I see gold. Oh,
Yeah.
I
So
think she
there-
actually
yeah,
shouts that out to all of you.
And
Yeah.
Vardis shouts, where?
Yeah, there are splintered crates and barrels. Looks like the remnants of a ship's steering wheel. I'm not sure if that has a particular nautical name. Apologies to any. I have friends and D&D companions in the Navy, so they may scorn
Come on,
me.
Ben,
for-
you own.
Yeah, and then as also, as you can see, the remains of a sail.
It's apparently just called the ship's wheel.
So
Just
yeah,
a
Andy
ship, there we
reckons
go.
that if I bet the body is where the gold is, we should go there.
Yep, treasure means
I'm
treasure
I'm
hunter.
gonna come down. Do I survive trying to get back down this cliff?
I'm gonna say, give me an acrobatics check.
I'm gonna do a very stylish
again.
jump roll off this thing because I reckon I should be able to pull that off. It's only 20.
Oh, so you want a higher DC? Go for it. You have chosen the higher DC.
By the way, what you were saying about that
22.
line being hated, it was still better received than the last movie, so.
True.
Truth.
22. Yeah, you'd land very much like the demon cat that you never got to own. So,
Fucking cats.
yeah. So yeah, you land. And again, pouches and Arnold. Oh, and actually, Andy, pouches and Arnold. Will you give me sorry, Andy, pouches and Arnold. Will you give me perception checks? Andy, this would have taken place while you were up on the cliff, actually.
24.
21.
13. I was more focused on trying to get down to get to the gold, I guess.
Yeah, obviously, when you were up there, Andy, your eyes, had just gone straight to the gold. Because there's also just, it catches your eye more immediately. It was on the horizon. But pouches and Arnold, you can see in I'm on the wrong thing. Here, in this sort of rather large pool of water, you can see a where is it? Sorry. Yeah, you see like it looks like a pearl. It's a pearlescent material, but actually, looking really closely, it looks like a pearl, but it is just that. It's just something that looks like a pearl. It's this sort of pearlescent, roughly spherical.
Size? Baseball.
thing in the pool of water. So did I? Sorry, did I think I said? Yeah, it's about the size of a fist.
Okay.
Is it something, given the amount of time I've spent on the coast and at sea, is it something I would recognize?
Yeah. So give me So Arnold, give me nature, or history, whichever you think you'd be better at. Nature for obviously more, range of things,
Yeah.
but history more so for, sailing.
Yeah, we'll go with nature. Okay, that's good. 21.
So, it appears to you, because it's strange. It's a pearl, and it's just sitting in a pool of water. You're reminded of both tales and things you've seen of, anglerfish, and certain creatures, or even things that aren't, certain animals, or perhaps things that aren't even animals, that would like to try and lure someone in. And because like you got such a, even from a distance you could see it's sort of a facsimile of a pearl. It seems to you like it's something trying to look like a pearl.
Yeah.
In a place where a pearl wouldn't normally be. It's not like it's in a big shell,
Yeah, getting major creepy vibes from it.
Is this in the shipwreck around the gold, or is it just nearby?
It is here. It's in the big.
Yeah, so if Vorden is getting
Ah.
that close, I'd just give a shout to say, best to avoid that. I don't think it is what it appears to be.
Okay, so Andy's
Oh,
not
okay.
really
Thank
going to
you,
go
thank
through
you.
the puddle. She's just going to skirt the very edge of it. So I think that's okay. She's going to keep moving.
So, yeah. Pouches. So pouches. So standing next to the pool.
I'm still like 10 feet from it. I don't know if I'm not showing up in the
No,
wrong place.
the little puddle
Oh.
that you're in. You notice because
How
I
deep
was
is
drawn
that?
to the. It's like a foot.
Okay, no, then I would have stepped
maybe a
in
foot
it.
and a half. I mean, you're on the edge. But you notice in that pool, because it was right behind the rock. I didn't really notice it before. There are bones in the pool, and then you look down, and you look down, and the pool is like, you see the bones. At first, it seems like a ripple, but the bones move, and then
Patch is getting back on the
slides
rock.
out of the water. As that happens, something rears out, like it comes out sort of gelatinous, this clear, it's almost invisible in the light. It looks like, semi-solid
man!
water. It's a gelatinous thing. The bones are floating, and the bones, the bones seem to be giving it like a vague humanoid shape. It's this sort of ooze man, like just rears up out of the pool. It brings up one just like, tentacled appendage, and it suddenly, it hardens into a thin, razor-sharp pane of glass. And this glass longsword just swipes at you, Pouches, as when you were, in its space.
Okay.
But it rolled. I think. Sorry, I didn't have its. I forgot to pull up its stats. But it rolled a 9, and I think it's +4, so I think it rolled a 13. But wait for
That
this
would still hit.
to pick up. Or
Ben going all
but
Terminator
with
2.
that, yes. With that, I think it's going to be initiative for everyone as combat has broken out. Come on. It's taking forever to... Is it taking so long to load my stats?
Just wait on initiative till
Yes.
Ben pulls the order out.
Still.
No, yeah, I'm gonna load it up there because I'm trying to get this goddamn thing's stats. Sorry, my PC being slow. I just want to double check. Yeah, it was 13 to hit. So, okay.
I'm gonna just stop you there because I'm gonna cast shield as a reaction.
Sure.
So
Yeah,
that would
and
put my
then,
AC at 18.
obviously you can.
And then I'm gonna scrabble back up on the rock and
Yeah, it's gonna be a
shout
miss.
my fucking lungs out.
Yeah. Yeah, I'll see if it does a reaction on its turn. It wasn't. We haven't rolled yet, so.
Oh, I thought
would
that
say it
was
doesn't
its
go into
reaction.
Let me. No,
I thought-
no, it was just because it was unseen. It just took.
You were surprised.
Just that what happened
Okay.
when it was when you were in its space. But I'm gonna say you can, on your turn, obviously you can move away. But sorry guys, what am I? Sorry, can I just move you off there for 1 second? Can I just. What is? Sorry guys. It's just being funky here for me for a second. So.
It's a good day to be killing the jellyfish man.
Oh
Yep.
God, sorry, what is this doing? Apologies.
The jellyfish man. The jellyfish man.
Instead of Candy
he,
Man.
he works with the lollipop guild.
He works
Yeah.
with the lollipop.
Who else is the lollipop guild? Amazing.
Maybe
Do
he
you
has a
know the
lollipop.
jellyfish man?
Oh my
He lives
God.
on Drury Lane.
Yeah.
Married to the jellyfish man.
Okay.
What
Sorry.
moved?
Sorry guys, I thought my roll 20 was being buggy, but I was not on the layer that I thought I was on.
Oh my god,
So-
the puddles move.
No, I
What a
couldn't get
twist.
a puddle.
Bum, bum,
I
bum.
couldn't get a puddle in Incarnate that I liked, so I
Made them.
I just got a thing from roll. Yeah, searched for something. So believe. Oh man, this thing rolled a 5. And there's -2 dex, so it has a 3 on its initiative. So sorry, Pouches, I'll move him back in there, but I'll say you're there. And with that, I'll just organize this. Should be correct anyway. And one more thing. Okay. Sorry, nearly there. Apologies, I was slow on my setup. Sorry, guys, it's. Oh, for God's sake, it's done it again. Anyway, but first up is Vorden. So,
Okay. First question
I
is.
was
Sorry, go
presumably
ahead.
seen this thing just.
hmm
Yeah, you've seen this thing emerge.
Well, Pouches
Okay.
screamed like a little girl,
Pouches.
so I've turned around to see what's going on.
Mhm.
Is my question is this difficult terrain because we're in sand?
No, it's it's pretty for the most. I mean, there's a couple of jagged rocks and big rocks and stuff in there, but it's like no, it's not sucking you in or anything. It's fairly compacted sand.
Okay, so Vorden is going to just march up behind this thing and say, "Back, Jolly Bojangles, man, back to the pool with you," and just slash him with his sword. And he's got a few.
Yeah, sure.
Despite being a man of few words, he seems to be a little more sprightly than usual for some reason. And he's just going to attack him with the short sword, and he's got a shield just in case. Actually, he's going to. I should be able to move here because that's 5 spaces. So that move there at 6, right?
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So let me use my attack and see what happens. Oh, not a short sword. Sorry, rapier. I meant to say.
Mhm.
Let's see. is what he carries as standard.
Ooh, yeah. Nice one.
Don't know why it rolled 2d8s, but it only affected one of them.
It only did one. Weird.
Yeah.
Not sure. Yeah, so that's most
Sometimes it
definitely,
automatically
most
rolls the
definitely-
crit.
Oh, hold on. So
With
1d8
discount.
plus 4. Okay, yeah, so I rolled a 7 plus a 4. Right, that makes sense.
Yeah. So it rolls the crit just
Yeah.
in case you crit,
I get you.
but it doesn't always add it in.
Right,
It doesn't
but
factor
it doesn't.
Yeah.
Okay, that's cool. Yeah, so what's
Alright,
that?
so it's 11 piercing damage.
Damn, yeah.
And
So
yeah.
yeah, nice. As Vorden brings his sword up, this thing is, kind of rearing up on Pouches. It's it's cut at him, but Pouches threw up his shield, his own sort of glassy, liquid crystal form in front of him, and the sword glanced off it, and then you came in behind, pierced this thing right. It just goes right through, and then pulling the rapier back, it kind of cuts quite a large line off this thing. You hear it; it slices and shatters some of the bones, and you see this thing as you hit it. It kind of loses some of its shape, and because you did 10 damage, its fragile bones, for each 5 damage it takes, its walking speed is reduced by 5 feet. So this one, I'm just actually going to make a note. This thing
Nasty
has
business.
got 20.
Everyone note he said this one.
Yeah, I was just about to ask the same. Everyone, please make note that DM
Damn.
says this one.
Come on, you think I'm going to throw one of these things at you?
Hey,
What do
the
you
man
take
can
me
dream.
for? So, is Vorden doing anything else?
No, that's Vorden's turn.
Cool.
Up.
Yeah. So. Oh, sorry. I thought we. So that's Vorden, and now we're on to Andy. You, next to the large pool with the sort of pearl thing in the middle, you've seen something emerge out of the smaller pool with the bones in it, and seen it attack Pouches, and Vorden attack it.
So, yeah, much as I heard Pouch's scream, Cloaks looks very
Rogue's
serious
gonna rogue.
and everything.
Well, it's
But
only
she's-
one. There's only
She's
one of them.
continuing to run towards the gold
Sure.
in basically a straight line until she arrives at the gold. And then, assuming nothing happens once I arrive at the gold, she's going to take out she's going to ready an arrow on her bow, vaguely holding it sort of back towards where the danger is, but while also entirely focused on looking at how much gold there is and what else there might be on the ground. So,
So
the
it's a
arrow has been
move-
readied, but it's in no way being
was that-
fired.
Yeah. Was that 30? I missed the measurement. Was that 30 foot, or was it?
So I was,
Did you have to? Was
I
that
think
6
I was
squares,
on
or
that
did you
square.
have to dash
So that was my 6 square or 5.
on
Hang
this
on.
one? Was it? No, this one. Yeah. So 1, 2, 3, 4.
So I should be one
1,
over actually.
2,
I think
3, 4, 5, 6.
there.
So yeah, either there. Yeah, you can go there without having to the dash. So movement. Are you actually like readying? Are you actually using your action to ready an attack, or is that just for show?
I think she's doing
That's
that
a
by
safe face.
rote because that's what you have to do, and there is clearly a monster about, so another one might come up. But I don't think she's readying an action. I think her action this round is probably a perception check on the gold, more than
Okay, so
like that's where her attention is.
yeah, give me a perception check to do a search. Sure, give me a search, perception check.
14.
14. From what you can see, scattered about, just kind of bits and pieces on the beach, might be more, but it's looking like there's about 4 41 gold pieces scattered about all over the beach in this area.
Oh,
You can
now
see.
I can retire and quit this life of crime. 41 gold pieces. She's feeling a little bit more
So-
sheepish about her dash to the gold now.
Yeah. I mean, it's still, it's probably a lot of what was in those crates is washed away, but that's 41 weeks of wages. So
That's true.
Eddie, only if you could swim, you could go look for more gold.
Yeah. When will I learn these important life
darn it.
skills?
yeah.
Go for it.
So is that bonus action?
That is Andy. I suppose the bonus
Andy?
action is probably the gist of having the arrow sort of semi out and
Yeah.
ready.
So he's using a bonus action to get a semi arrow ready.
Get a semi ready.
That sentence is not going well for you.
Oh, wow.
I knew what I was saying. It was intentional, but my heart wasn't in it. So that takes us to Arnold.
Oh, righty then. Let's see. Yeah, that's 20. That's cool. So, yeah, I'll just do 20 up to there,
Sure,
and I'll chuck 2 daggers at it.
go for it.
Let the big beefy boys
Beef it out.
deal with the damage of it. Jeez, I just got hit with the main hand.
Oh, dear.
That's only 5 damage.
That's on the off
hand.
hand. Isn't it? I think you might actually be left-handed.
I am
It's like
actually.
one of those-
In real life, I am left-handed.
Well, it's like it's like people say that like I have several left-handed siblings, and it's that thing of like, well, it was like I'm left-handed for writing, but just it's like my in almost everything else, my dominant hand is like I throw with my right hand or I kick with my right leg if I'm Actually, really weirdly, I don't know what Kyle might be able to work this out for me at some point, because I tried to do the maths on it before, do the percentages, but it's just escaped me completely. I've failed miserably. But both my parents are right, because it was the odds of 2 right-handed parents having a left-handed child are very small, and both of my parents are right-handed, and there's 5 of us kids, and 3 of the kids are left-handed. So I'm like, I'm no good with probability, and Kyle is much better at stats than I am, so I'll have to ask you about that.
Yeah, I'll have to
sometime
go
in the
do some
future.
math sometime.
So yeah,
25%?
Arnold.
I don't know.
Yeah, I don't think an 8 hits.
Oh, dear.
We lost Ben.
Oh, did we lose Ben? Oh, he's back.
Oh no.
Call
Okay,
mayhem while the DM is
I'm
gone.
back.
All I'm saying is God love Christian.
It just dropped me.
Thank you, Christian. Sorry,
Oh,
Christian.
Christian, I'm so sorry.
Okay, so
Yeah,
guys,
it just,
Ben is now Andy.
fucking internet dropped
Andy
me
is
out.
now Vorden. Void's now the DM,
I'm the DM.
Oh,
and Patty, you're now Dural.
God help us all.
yeah, but I think the issue, weirdly, I think the issue I was having with the audio for some reason with the Roll20, it wasn't playing. I wasn't hearing the music. As soon as the Zoom died for me, and for the few seconds that I was out of the Zoom, the Roll20 music came in. So I think it's like something going on that it's since the last time that something's gone on with my audio settings where it's not playing, the audio for both. But while we're getting that sorted out, while we're getting the window sorted out, is that Arnold? That's
Yeah, that would be my turn.
action bonus. Cool. So Doral, you can hear some. Oh, sorry. What was it? Is that 5 or 2? No, what is that?
It's 5.
5
2
damage
for,
altogether,
2
right?
for thrown weapon fighting, and then 3 for the piercing.
Yeah, sorry. Sorry, you guys just got distracted by getting kicked off Zoom. So, Arnold comes up, 2 daggers. One goes wide. It's very difficult to hit this thing, from a distance, because you're kind of mostly going on seeing the bones. It's this, it's like a thin sheet of water. but you do manage to connect on one of them. And Vorden, you see this fly just like kind of right in front of your face. It pierces this thing, and it kind of gets a slash out of it. It chips a bone and it shatters, and you see again that it seems to slump a little more as its speed is reduced another 5 feet. So then, sorry, Doral, it's onto you.
No problem. Yeah, I think I'll run 5, 10, 15, 20, and I'm going to throw a javelin at it. That's what I'm going to do.
Sure.
So, let's see.
Ooh,
A 20
nice.
hit, and that is 9 piercing damage. Ooh, big.
Ooh, yeah, so Vorden, you're like, you're fighting this thing, and you see, because it's just completely transparent, you see like Doral, like, this dagger just went and barely missed your face, and then Doral just runs up just completely like just directly in front of you, and like Olympic athlete that he is, just pulls back a javelin, and Vorden's like, oh, like you're like, what? No, wait. Lets it loose. This javelin goes flying. You prepare the shield, and you hear a rip as and a shatter, like a sort of a glass splintering sound, as the last of the bones is sort of like is shattered. The gelatinous, membranous sort of flesh of this thing rips, and you see it split in two and just fall and melt back into the water, and then just in the sand between your legs is a javelin. Just like bullseye. It's just completely, just stopped it right short. So
yeah, I stick my head out from under my shield and say, "Oh, nice shot! I knew you had that."
And then is a bonus. I'm not sure with the other.
Unfortunately, I can't get any closer. Or well, he's dead. Yeah. No.
So Doral, it's that one. So Doral throws. Doral throws this, and it splits, and it's kind of like, easy, and it's dusting off his hands, and you're all about to call it a day when Doral, you see one pops up here.
Oh, nice.
Here.
Good luck, Andy.
Here, you just see them start to rise, rise out of these pools, like same thing, bones, two little tentacles. Oh, fuck. Pardon me. That is not what should have happened. But
oh fuck, there should have been fewer, or oh fuck, where are the rest of them?
no, it's an environmental thing. No, okay. I will switch. I'll switch that right. Okay, sorry. So, sorry, I just got something wrong there. Pardon me. So, oh no, I was right. So, sorry, never mind. I had a bit of a brain fart there. So these all start to, sort of coalesce out of the puddles, and you're like, oh Jesus! And then all of you see, from the big pool. Where am I? Sorry, guys. From the big pool, it's sort of like you just see some of the water, and it's like, again, it's almost like a jellyfish in the water, so it's concealed, and it's just this sort of like thing just wriggles up like a sort of a wacky waving flailing inflatable arm flailing tube man made of jellyfish kind of flies up and starts like a periscope seeking. And with that, this one is going to move 5, 10, 20, 25 up to there. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25. I might as well actually go 30. 5, 10, 15, 25, 30. 5, 10, 15. Sorry, 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. And then 5, 10, 15, 25. So Vorden, one is attacking you. You rolled a 2. So again, this thing brings up a glass, long. Its hand just, well, it's not a hand. Its tentacle forms into a blade. And complete, you see it coming, and you bring the shield up. The other one is a 12 against you, Pouches. Is that?
No,
AC?
that doesn't
13?
hit.
Sweet. So yeah, same thing. This one goes for its pseudopod, kind of whips out, but you see coming. You just manage to lean back, and you see it's almost like spring and snap back. Doral, this one next to you, goes for, that is a 14 plus 4.
Oh, that hits.
It's an 18 to hit, and it is, so it goes for you with the glass longsword, but it's 4 damage.
I shout, fuck off, you mucus-oozing stalactite.
So yeah, it cuts Terminator style across. You kind of manage to you jump back a bit, but it's very close, and you're a bulky guy, so it cuts across through your cloak, and you feel it, cut across your abs. And then Andy, this one goes for you, and that is a 22 to hit.
That hits.
Same again, 4 damage. It comes in. You see, it kind of slithers along, and as it does, it brings up the blade, coalesces, and it cuts across at your legs. And you feel the blood, spray out onto the sand. And then the big one is going to 5, 10. It reaches out it reaches out 10 feet. This tentacle, or it's a pseudopod, sort of just emerges out and goes for Doral. But yeah, it's a 14 plus 5 is a 19 to hit. And so it latches on. 5, 2, 7 plus 2. And you take you take, what was that? You take 10 points of acid damage. It's you feel it start to sort of melt your flesh, and you are grappled by it. The escape DC is 13, so on your next turn, and it pulls you 5 feet closer to it. As it starts dragging you in.
Oh, nice.
So until the grab, so your grab, it basically, it brings this thing down, it wraps around your neck, and then it encases your head in the gelatinous, sort of half liquid, half solid material, and you are restrained, and it's trying to drown you, essentially. So it's just pulling Doral in, but it probably went for the wrong target, because Doral is going to be the hardest to, he's got the lowest center of gravity. So that is that thing's turn, and it is Pouches.
I'm going to attempt to Ray of Frost this one in front of me.
Sorry to interrupt. Was it poison damage?
Acid?
Acid, sorry.
Acid.
I'm resistant to poison damage. I was because I'm a dwarf. That doesn't count. Never mind.
Yeah.
So this is a ranged spell attack because I'm using Ray of Frost.
Yeah.
And I'm going to use it against that one and try and see if I can't fuck this thing up a little bit.
Okay. You could, yeah.
I don't know why it rolled twice there.
Disadvantage because it's a ranged spell and you're.
Disadvantage.
No, but it
range.
rolled and rolled again on
Did
my
it?
screen.
Oh,
Yeah.
okay, weird.
10.
Oh, weird. But this thing's AC is 10.
Oh wow.
So once you know where it is, it's it's not particularly fast. So Ray of
Okay.
Frost, yeah.
4 cold damage, and its speed is reduced by 10 feet until the end of its
Is
next
it
turn.
the one to the north of you or the one to the east of you?
East?
Cool. Sorry, I just missed the targeting. So its speed is reduced by 5. So yeah. So you kind of it's quick. You kind of you're trying to aim and catch it, and you do, and you almost like drive the frost into it, and you feel it hit its sort of membranous body, and you feel it kind of freeze the outside of it, but it doesn't really seem to penetrate the layers like you're used to the frost kind of penetrating into the layers of flesh. It seems to just sort of repel the cold a little bit, and that his pouch is going to attempt to move. Well, I assume not, actually, because he probably would have done that at a distance. But I don't know. Are you gonna? No, Victor.
You know what? I am gonna, but I'm gonna move through Vorden and then that way.
Yeah.
Oh, you slippery bastard! Get back here.
Yeah. So you're going. Yeah. So it's actually gonna.
Vorden is going to impose disadvantage on the first attack.
Oh, the fuck! The first one was a well. You know what? Yeah. So with disadvantage, it rolled a 2. I'm gonna be, I'm gonna be generous because I'd rolled 2d20 for the first and the second attack. So I'll take the second attack roll, and those were the 2 for the disadvantage, because the first one was a 2 and the next one was a crit. So that was the disadvantage one, and this is the second. So 13 plus 4 is 17 to hit.
Shield.
Cool. So you're.
So that's
13
brings me
plus
to
5.
18.
Yes, you're 18. Yeah, cool. So yes, it's as you're like, oh, fuck this, and you run, and one Vorden, you see it happening in sort of slow motion. It's like it pulls up the longsword, and the way it's going, it's gonna drive this blade right through Pouch's back, right in through all his vital organs, and you just managed to bring the shield down. And will you actually make me a strength check?
Strength
Actually,
check.
wait. I just need to check something.
Yeah.
Okay, no, until the start of your next turn. I was just checking if it was until the end or the start.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
This is
I always
a weird,
forget that, actually.
weird question, but how do I make a strength check? Do I just
Click on strength.
Just on the
Just
click.
on the stat itself on Roll20, I think.
Ah, okay,
Yeah.
cool. Did that roll?
Yep.
Oh dear.
I see it rolling. Oh no, I want to say you feel a bit of give in the sword, but you just bat it aside. You feel a bit like a lot of things about this thing. It's sort of like seems to be a sort of tensile fragileness to it, and then the other one, though, because you're busy doing that, the other one does go for the pseudopod. It swings at Pouches, but Pouches then puts his own shield up, so it's just on both sides. There's just they're repelled, and he makes a clean getaway. But Vorden, it is now you, and there's 2 of these things are now kind of rounding their attention on you.
Ah dear. Okay, so the one that Pouch is
He's a
struck.
wizard. He's got to get out of there.
Yeah, I look
I'm
back.
squishy.
Yeah, I look over my shoulder and say, "Nice move, Pouches," and turn back. And I'm gonna lay into the one that he tried to freeze. The one just south of me.
Sure.
And
Yeah.
let me use my attack with my rapier. And so there's 12 piercing on the first attack. And in fact, I'm going to use my action surge and attack it again.
Sure. So 12. Yep.
Seeing that it could have ended very badly for Pouches, I get the feeling these things are pretty nasty, so I'm not taking any chances.
Yeah, and with that, so Vorden just comes in with both, seeing that he rears out and he pierces once again, and you're aiming for the bones now. You've seen that seem to destabilize it, so you go, you essentially like poke it in just the right place. You pop it, and then like a balloon, it just deflates and it melts
Awesome.
into a puddle. And it was this one, right? Or
yeah, the one just south of me. Yeah.
That already had the damage. Yep.
Yeah.
So yeah, that one is down. Now, actually, you'd still have a bonus action because you action surged.
Yeah.
You'd actually have a second bonus action. So
Oh, do I?
I'm gonna give you a bit of you get a. Oh no. Yeah. Oh no. Do you just get the other
I
action?
thought it's just an action. Yeah, like as if
Maybe
you
I'll double
were.
check it.
Could be
What it
wrong.
said, and a possible bonus action.
You should still have
It
your
does
bonus
say
action,
and a
shouldn't you?
possible bonus action. Yeah, that's right. It does say that, but I don't know what that means. That's the point.
I guess
always
if there was
assumed
like,
with
I suppose
action
if you'd
surge,
used the
you
bonus action for something
and then
else,
bonus.
I suppose
Yeah.
you could.
So
If
I
if
get
you
you.
used
I
your
get you.
bonus action for something else, you could second win.
Then I would have a
guess.
second. Okay, I get you. That makes sense.
Double check.
Yeah,
I'll just
that's
just
what
double check
that would
myself.
explain what the possible means, because I always thought it just meant. Yeah, I think you guys are right.
Well, maybe.
But then I can't really do
Oh
an awful
no!
lot.
On your turn, you can take one additional action. On no, yeah, no, yeah.
And
On
there's
top
no
of your regular, it's saying on top of your regular action and your usual possible, and a possible bonus action.
Right.
You can take an additional action.
So
I
you
was
may not
misremembering.
use that bonus action. But either way, I don't.
Yeah.
There's not
You
much
still
I can
have
do.
your
For my,
bonus action.
I can't do anything with my
Yeah.
bonus action anyway. So yeah, for now.
Yeah, you're not damaged or anything. So, so that's Vorten. So Andy, these things have one of them has taken an interest in you.
So, since Andy had, in a somewhat distracted fashion, armed herself with a bow and arrow instead of her dagger, she is going to attack this chappie here with the bow because the other guy's too
Still
close.
at disadvantage. Nope, doesn't matter. If anyone's in your melee, the rules are if anything is in your melee range that's hostile,
Yeah.
Is it? Oh, okay.
you take disadvantage.
Anything you attack.
Yeah.
Because they're essentially kind of, I guess, suppose like threatening you, so it's difficult to get a good draw or to aim correctly.
Makes sense.
I'm gonna just go with the fact that I'm guessing Andy doesn't know that because the crossbow or the bow is pretty new to her. So this is the first time she's really been in melee. So she's going to try to attack.
But I mean, you
this,
can bonus action disengage if you want, and then
get to a better spot. Yeah.
it's up to you. I don't know if you had plans for your bonus action or anything. I'm not sure if you were planning to dash or something.
I'm going to go
try
with
to
the
hide
original
in a
plan,
barrel.
which was do this, then disengage and try to move away, because that's what that was her original plan. So I'm going to stick to it.
I understand. It's like natural. You say, you move away towards the gold and use your trying to scoop it up.
So she's going to short bow at disadvantage the other dude. So I don't think this is going to go well. Oh, well, 18. So.
Ah! And the other was a nat 20.
And
But
then
an
it was
18, so it's still a hit.
So she got 9 damage on that. And then she'll bonus action disengage from the one that's close to her and use her movement
Sure.
to get to that square. Which was, I think, that square. Yeah.
Okay.
Cool. And that's Andy's turn, which actually went way better than I
Wait.
actually thought it was going
Yeah,
to.
so-
way.
Yeah. So with the bow again, you get a good shot off actually on this one, and it, some of the floating bones, it kind of two of them line up around the right time, and you get a good shot off at one of them, and you see again it sort of deflates a little bit as its speed is reduced by 5 feet. Their speed is reduced by 5 feet for every 5 damage that they take. And yeah, that's Andy. So Arnold.
Okay, so bonus action, I will Hunter's Mark the one right next to me.
Sure.
And then as part of my attack, draw a dagger, and from Hell's Heart, I stab at thee. Natural 20.
Oh, with Hunter's Mark.
With Hunter's Mark. So that'll
Yeah.
be 16 plus another 8 is 24.
Fuck. Just Arnold, like seeing, he just studies this thing for just like there's just a briefest of seconds. He, mutters something, and then there's just like the moonlight, passing over the ocean waves on a moonlit night. Your eyes just shimmer. There's like a sheen, and something passes over them, and you just see exactly where to hit it. It twists, and there's like a femur and an arm bone and the skull line up, and you just drop the dagger and you sweep, and it goes and it cuts through, shatters all the bones, and rips right through it, and it just in one fell swoop it dissolves into a puddle before your eyes. That's just in one, went 5, just completely decimated it.
Then movement, 25, so 1 back, so just
Sure.
until right in front of Andy.
Okay. Awesome. So that's Arnold. Doral, you are currently, so you're restrained, so you're just basically trying to, all you can really do is try and escape the grapple at the end of your turn. So normal grapple rules, so athletics or acrobatics, DC 13, I'm going to assume. Athletics.
Restrained.
I don't know if
I
there's
have
any
a
kind
bonus
of
action.
I think you can't take action. As far as I'm aware, you're incapacitated, so you can't take actions. But let me double check.
Is it just at the end of my turn I have to escape? I have no other choice.
Restrained. Speed 0. Oh no, sorry. I was thinking of stunned.
Thank God.
Yeah, sorry. So yeah, you just got. Oh no, yeah, it's you just got 0 speed. So
Yeah.
your attack rolls will have disadvantage, but yeah, that's.
So
Sorry, I was thinking of the different.
what I want to do is take a bonus action to stick and move. So I'll spend one of my grit points, to brace up, and I will roll my fisticuffs die, which is a D6, and add my pugilist level and my constitution modifier to it, and I gain that many hit points. So
Nice.
my con modifier is 3, and I'm level 2. So that didn't work. Oh, that is 10 total. So
Nice.
I gain 10 temporary hit points, and I'm then going to spend my action to attempt to break out of this thing. So it's an athletics check, is it?
It is, yeah. Oh, yeah. You could do acrobatics if you want, but
I got a big old 9.
Jesus, it's fuck. Definitely, there's no kind of.
That's my turn.
Nothing you can spend a grit to. No.
I'm good. At least I hopefully won't die.
Yeah, shit. So this thing, this thing's turn now. It's all of their turns. So, yeah, it just pulls you 5 foot closer and.
Whoa!
Jesus. So 11 plus 3. Yes, fuck. It does 14 points of acid damage.
Okay.
And yeah, as it's just continuing to try and drag you just down into the pool. This pool is a bit deeper.
Aren't so loud anymore, and they're a little bit more restrained.
Yeah. You've got like a sort of astronaut helmet of jellyfish on your head right now. And you can feel it like the acid, you can feel it like acting on your skin. It's trying to like break down, you know.
Oh, it's a spa treatment.
Yeah, exactly. Yeah, it's like those little fish that, you know, nibble on your feet and get rid of the dead skin.
Exfoliate your skin.
Soon you'll be all dead skin. Soon all of your skin will be dead.
It'll exfoliate the skin straight off your bones.
Yeah, and then it'll make more of its little buddies. So the one next to you there, Vorden, is going to swing. That's 15 plus 4 is 19.
Ah, that hits.
Yeah. So 7 plus so 9 points of slashing damage.
Ouch.
This sword comes in and it gets a good one. You raise to it kind of like, you know, it's wiggling around, so you think it's going to attack with the pseudopod arm, but or with one arm. So you kind of raise your shield, but then it swipes and it cuts across under your like the arm joint, the armpit there where you've left it exposed. And then this one is going to go 5, 10, 15, 20. And it's going to go to Arna. 5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 30. So yeah, then this one there goes up next to Arnold. 8 plus 5, 8 plus 4 is 12. I think your AC is more than that, right?
Yeah, just misses.
Cool. Yeah, so it comes in with the, you know, it's coming in with the sword. Actually, you know what? No, it's gonna do it from there because the pseudopod actually has 10 foot of reach, so it stands a bit back and it lashes out, but it misses. Pouches.
So Pouches is just gonna move and seeing this thing like consuming Dural's head.
Yeah.
He's gonna just chant a little thing, and he is going to cast Witch Bolt. So he's gonna begin to chant in the strange mix of languages.
Mm-hmm. Nice.
13. Don't know why I was at disadvantage, but 13.
Okay. Yeah, maybe that's weird. Yeah, it's
I think I had it set from last time.
Maybe, oh yeah, that is a hit. It's on the money. So
2 points of lightning damage. The spell is cursed for me.
You do though get, unlike the. Yeah, I was saying I played a wizard that was Witch Bolt and I just never got anything off it. So it you do see that despite it only doing 2 damage, it feels like it does like you feel it reacting to the lightning, unlike the cold. You know, the lightning is doing what it should be doing, and you can see it sort of vibrating the whole thing. And luckily, the lightning seems to kind of skim over the outer skin of the outer membrane of these things. It doesn't penetrate, and you know, it's not shocking Doral or anything. In case we were worried. So Vorden, it's you.
Okay, so I'm just rolling up a d20 to see what Dural may or may not do. Okay, so Vorden braces himself and uses his bonus action to use his second wind, which I don't know what I just rolled there. It was an accident. Clicked on something around that.
Club.
Sorry. That was unintentional.
Back to the old school.
Yeah. It's like we're not using that anymore. Did that roll? 1d10 equal to... Yeah, so maybe roll that. No! Get out of here. Okay, so 3 hit points
Yeah.
back.
Fuck.
We're on second level, right? Okay, 3 hit points back. And he was eyeing up Dural and kind of going to run after to help him, but seeing that he didn't steal himself as much as he was hoping, he's just going to attack this thing in front of him. Let's see.
Go for it.
It's rapier. Oh, he's going to try.
That's a hit.
Okay.
Yeah, so again, cutting, jabbing in with the rapier, you crack one of the bones inside, you crack it right down the middle, and its speed is reduced as it starts to sort of wobble and deflate somewhat. And then is Vorten, are you gonna move or attempt to move?
Well,
not attempt to move, but
going anywhere.
cool. Sorry, I was just looking for something.
And a side glances Dural again because he's like so torn. He really wants to get over there, but he just can't because if he moves, he's probably gonna die.
Yeah. So Andy, it's you.
So, I think I'm a little bit worried for Dural of everything that's happening, even though these other guys are kind of moving towards us. So I'm going to shoot an arrow at the Big O. In the hopes of assisting.
Big O.
Big O. Where is that? So that's not at disadvantage anymore, I don't think. Actually, should it be at advantage? No. Does Dural count for second win, or not second win, for sneak attack? He is technically within 5 feet
of him, so yeah.
So I will enable that in
Yeah. I mean, it's focused on Dural.
So that's 19 to hit.
That is certainly a hit.
And then damage is 9 altogether. Sneak added a whole extra 1.
Woo. Yeah. So that is Andy bonus action.
No bonus action. Well, maybe actually. So when she's done that, she's going to use her movement to move that away, and then she might use a little bit of extra movement from dash just to move that bit further. So basically, she's moving to sort of there. Cool. And that's Andy.
Arnold.
Cool.
Sorry, Arnold.
No problem. That's fine. Move up 5 feet. I'll move Hunter's Mark to this one in front of me. And then I will stab him again, but only once this time.
What?
Oh, that is...
my internet's being laggy. I was like, it's going to be a crit, isn't it? I didn't see the roll.
That's another 24.
Wow.
Yeah, I'm not even going to... They have 19 hit points. Boom. This just...
I've got the numbers now.
Did we lose Ben again?
I think we lost. Yeah, Andy's back.
He had to go away and
I'm going to
think
kill
about
my internet.
Robo-Ben.
Can you
strikes
guys
You
hear
can't
me?
kill the
Sorry.
internet. Yes, we can hear you.
Yeah. Sorry about that, guys. Sorry, Christian.
No problem.
Yeah. Hunter's Mark broke me. Yeah. So, Anna just completely just slices this thing in two, and when it's like he just slices the gelatin, but when the two parts come apart, the bones just like essentially fall out. Like all the bones, he waits till they float to the top half, and he cuts it, and then there's just nothing holding them in, and the bones just drop out and like just kind of clatter to the ground, and the whole thing just melts.
Yeah.
So, Doral, you've actually being sort of inside this and sort of looking around frantically. Will you give me an insight check?
Sure. A 10.
Okay. It seems to be reacting somehow. You think that every time you've seen one of these go down, the smaller, the little minions, you've seen the big one sort of it kind of it quivers, it wobbles, you feel it wobble, But is Arnold moving any more than that?
Yeah, I'm just going to use the remaining movement just to move up 5 feet.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Or no, you know what? Make it. Yeah, let's make it. I'll use all my remaining movement to make it to there.
Okay, cool. Doral, so it's your turn. Obviously, you can still attack, or you can try and escape the grapple. It is pulling you down closer into the pool, and this pool is a little deeper. It's maybe 4 foot deep.
I think even if I beat the grapple, I can't get away from it and not take damage next turn, and I'm within death. So yeah, he's just going to go for all-out attack at this point and start hitting this thing. Will it be at disadvantage?
It's at disadvantage while you're restrained. I'll double check.
Oh.
Just
Okay.
I think it said.
I'm not sure myself off the top of my head.
Attack rolls. The creature's attack rolls have disadvantage.
Yeah. So I'll hit him I'll swing wildly with the first unarmed strike. Nope, one of them's a 3. Next one. A 12. Does that hit?
That is fuck! It misses by 1.
No joy. And finally,
it's
I'll
just-
spend my last grit point to attack a last time. 10.
Fuck.
That's my turn.
Oh dear.
Jeez, sorry, Boyd.
You're all
sucks. This thing, just it attempts to, it drags Doral. Hang on, sorry. I don't know if I can. Sorry, guys. Fucking trying to move this motherfucker. I'll put him there. I can see the edge of Doral. So it 10, it's 13 acid damage. And it drags Doral. Arnold, you see drag Doral down into the pool. So Doral is now unconscious.
Doral!
Down in the pool, unconscious and now suffocating in the water. But you can, I believe you can. He's unconscious, but you'd be able to. I don't know about holding your breath while you're unconscious, but I'll say it's not going to die immediately.
That's a
Um,
no-no.
yeah.
So I wrote a whole thing on this the other day for Patty.
Yeah.
You
Underwater
can-
combat.
It
yeah.
it takes, if you're unconscious and not holding your breath, it takes a number of rounds equal to your Constitution modifier before you die.
Because I knew there was a thing. It's what is it? A number of minutes equal to your con mod.
One plus your con
while
mod
you're
is how
conscious,
long you can hold your
how
breath,
long you can
and
hold.
then
Yeah.
1 plus your con mod rounds before you drop to 0 hit points.
So what's that? 4? 4 for you, Doral?
We'll see.
We'll see if the death
But-
saves get him first.
Yeah.
So pouches.
I'm just gonna repeat my little smacky smack and witch bolt again.
Yep.
5.
Ooh, so yeah, you kind of electroshock this jellyfish, and you feel it start. You see some of the membranous material kind of blacken momentarily, and does seem to singe it. His pouch is moving.
I've just moved a little bit.
Oh yeah, I see. Cool. So Vorden.
Okay. Warden is. No, because damn, we're both screwed if I do that. If you're dragging someone out of someone else's attack range, they get an opportunity attack, right?
No, not anymore. To willingly leave.
Yeah.
Oh, if it's
No, it's-
willingly leaving the space.
Yeah.
Yeah. So a
I
lot
mean,
of people.
if you would have to get within 5 feet to drag him out, so they might get one on you.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But so they'll get 2 on me essentially.
No. Oh, I see. Yeah. Yeah.
No, I don't think that's a good idea because as much as I want to do it, I'm just gonna have to
The
attack this
tactician
thing.
in you. The tactician in Vorden
Yeah.
is yeah.
Warden's like, he's kind of stuck between a rock and a hard place.
Here we go.
But
Yeah.
just completely like looking at Doral, he's like, fucking gotta get to Doral, and this thing is rearing up, and you duck out of the way, and you pull the rapier back, and you just
Yes!
jam it right through. And again, the same thing. You don't even look. You just turn around to run after Doral, and you just hear it rip as you turn, and then you see this thing just melt behind Vorden as he
Cool.
begins running
And
towards his drowning friend.
in that case, I'm going to move 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm guessing that's 5 because I moved diagonally across 2 squares. So
Yeah.
one of them counts as a 10. And
Mm.
I kind of like I just tell I don't know what to do here. Okay, I tell Arnett that if he's going to try and help Dural, I'll watch his back. So if this thing tries to get an attack on him, I'll impose disadvantage on it. That's
Mhm.
my turn.
Yeah, he's going to cover you. So, Andy, so Doral is now down in here.
But I can only cover him on one of them, not both of them. So he's going to still
Yeah.
probably take
That's all
So
that I need.
if I fired an arrow on that path, it would potentially hit Vorden, right?
From that, it's because this thing is actually quite low profile. Now that it isn't out of the water attacking, it's kind of like a jellyfish, sort of low profile. When it was dragging Doral, it sort of had an appendage coming out of the water.
Okay.
So if
I'm
you just
gonna move
sure.
to like there.
Solo says if you drag someone out of someone, you would have to do a medicine check because it would be like giving birth.
And as Andy's running over and she's reaching for an arrow, she's going to shout, and I don't know if anyone has time to react to this. If I try to blow this thing up, will it kill Dural? Because she's reaching for an explosive arrow. She's kind of hesitating. I'm like,
Well,
don't know, because Durrell's in the O now, isn't it? He's in the big O, or is he in the puddle under the
he's
big
in
O?
he's in the space. Like, yeah, he's in its the
Yeah,
same space
Arnold will-
essentially.
Arnold will shout back, wait till we get him out.
Okay, so she'll
Yeah,
at the
because it
last
was
second,
anything
she'll
in within
flick,
like 5 feet, it's gonna blow it up.
explode as well. So she'll like flick her hand over and grab one of the normal arrows at like the last second. Didn't take much convincing because she was a bit worried she was going to kill poor Durrell even deader than
Yeah.
it seems to be. So that is a 23 to hit and does 10 damage.
Sweet. Yeah, so Joel, you kind of you managed to it does actually a little bit more than normal. It kind of the way you aim it sort of past Joel so it doesn't hit him, and it seems to graze the sort of the little pearl sort of thing, the rough sort of pearl at the bottom of the pool, and when it grazes that, it seems to kind of wobble and react.
Do I notice?
Yeah, I mean, I think you.
Since
Yeah,
it's where
because
my
you're
arrow
aiming.
went.
Yeah, it's where your arrow went, and then it seemed to, So.
I'll probably shout out in case nobody else noticed it. Like, it's the pearl.
Mm-hmm.
They can make of that what they will.
Yeah, and he says it's the pearl, and then now it's Arnold.
So free action, I'm going to drop the dagger that I'm holding and grab onto Durrell with both hands and try to yank him out of there.
Yeah, give me a strength check.
I am great at those. Yeah, only an 8.
It's still half stuck in this thing. But I suppose I suppose he's technically in the water, so it'll probably just be regular dragging rules. Because it's
unless he's restrained still.
Yeah, is he? I mean,
Yeah.
I guess it'll depend on if
okay.
the thing is still holding on to him.
5. Oh, okay. I actually rolled for I actually rolled strength for them, and it got an 8. But since it's a tie, I believe it goes in the essentially
aggressor
the
always
defender's
wins.
favor.
No,
The
aggressor always wins.
Oh. On the then I think then that Arnold pulls Doral out, and you can proceed to drag him. So it should be. I'd say you'd be able to drag Doral. So it'd be, I think, half. Yeah, it'd be half speed.
Just gonna check that.
He's one size larger. I think if it's 2 sizes larger, you can't drag it, but unless I'm gonna strength check.
Yeah, so I don't as much want to drag him as move him to around there.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, I'm more than willing to give up movement to do that.
Oh, so Player's Handbook page
you're-
174. If the contest results in a tie, the situation remains the same as it was before the contest.
Yeah.
Okay.
So if you try to grapple someone and tie, you lose. But if you're trying to pull someone out of a grapple and tie, they win, kind of thing.
So
Yeah.
he stays inside then.
Well, for the sake of drama and maybe speed, I'm gonna feel like a dickhead if I renege on that. For Doral.
But
So,
it's your call at the end of the day. I'll go by either.
Okay, hang on. Do I go with the rules or do I go with what I just said? Oh, okay. The skull. We're going with the rules. Ugh, so unfortunately, yeah, Doral is still in there.
Keep holding your breath, buddy.
Then just there's the rest of my bonus action. I'm moving Hunter's Mark to the big guy. But that is my turn.
Yeah. Well, because I think that you would still. I'd say you'd still have your action because you didn't. I suppose isn't like the strength check was just part of you. I suppose attempting to drag him out. You know, because all that really takes is you getting it, just grabbing Doral as your sort of free your free object interaction essentially, and then you're trying to move, but you just couldn't move with him. So I'd say you still have your action.
All right. Well, if that's the case, then with thrown weapon fighting, I can draw a new weapon in the same action. So I'm stabbing at the big guy.
Okay. And have you is Hunter's Mark on it or the?
Yeah, Hunter's Mark's on the big guy.
Okay, cool. So it's
12 misses.
It's a miss. 13. It's a little. It's as easy to hit as the smaller guys, but it's a thick. Yeah, it's getting through the outer membrane is tough. Is Arnold staying put?
I'm not moving. I'm staying right there.
Okay. Doral, now I suppose will you because will you give me a whisper roll for the death save? Is the whisper roll what's the command?
Slash GR space 1d20.
Okay, GR.
Otherwise, I just put the whisper tab on my character sheet and whisper it from there.
Yeah.
There you go.
Okay, noted. Okay, so as Doral he's not suffering acid damage, as you could tell. It's like it seems content to have him at the bottom of the pool. So Arnid, because Arnid swiped at it, it goes for you, and essentially that is 9 plus 5. That is 14 to hit.
That just is.
Sorry, I didn't realize my mic was off. I'm opposing disadvantage on it.
Oh yes. So with disadvantage, it is an 8 to hit.
Yeah,
so it comes up and it feels like it's going for your face like it did for Doral, but Vorden's just like, no, I'm not, two cloaks aren't going down on my watch, and just rebounds it off the face of his shield. And that is its turn because it cannot move. Then it is, sorry, who is Pouches?
It's me.
It's me.
It's me, yeah. Mario.
It's me, Pouchio. Oh, there we go.
11. There we go.
Yeah. Pouch is just kind of getting fed up with this and said, "Oh, sorry, Arden. I forgot that this there was the other little.
Oh yeah, there was the little dude. Yeah,
he misses. That was a 6. So this Pouches is getting sick of this now and just surges the witch bolt, and you can feel it. There's a little Vorden and Arnold. You sort of smell, the smell of ozone kind of crackling off this thing, and you see the tendrils of lightning kind of pierce the outer membrane and kind of reach in and vein into its sort of gelatinous flesh. Is Pouches moving?
No, Pouches is quite happy to stay very far away from this thing.
Well, no, come on.
In fact, he would be further away. He would be further away if the minimum range was not 30 feet, which is exactly 20. He's 20 feet from it, just so it can't run too far away from him. He would be further away if it wasn't for that.
Oh, you can get further away. As far as you have not witnessed it move.
I think 2 opportunity attacks before it moves, I'll be okay.
Yeah. So, Vorden.
What's the situation with the pearl?
I mean, it would it's effectively
Do I
probably
need-
about 6 feet away from you, because no, more actually, because it's about 5 foot in and then about 3-4 foot down, and so it's about 8-9 foot, or maybe a bit less, 7 if you. I don't know if you could kind of. You'd also have to kind of pierce through. It's not
Yeah.
right at the bottom, but it's sort of in, like, it's at this. It seems to be at the center of this thing's mass. Like
Right.
what does they put this a stone in Jello in States? Is that the thing? Is that you put stone or something in Jello, whatever that is, or there's always something floating in it. So
Okay, I am going to. I'm going to attempt. Would that mean I have to jump into this thing, into the Jello?
what I'll say is
I mean, if I have to, I might do
roll.
it. But
So roll before you attack. Just roll me a d20.
D20. Okay.
Okay, so roll me an attack. I'm gonna say if you hit, then you hit the pearl.
An attack roll. Let's see.
Oh, and yeah, will you roll me another d8, because it's just gonna essentially auto crit. Just roll
Oh
me another
yeah,
D8.
I'll do it now. Woo!
Oh, nice. So what's that? 17 altogether.
Yeah.
Okay. So
Hi.
let me just. Yeah. So. Yeah. There's this thing. Is there? Vorden. You see this thing, and Doral is there. You see him on the bottom of the pool of water. You see bubbles leaving his. Yeah, man. There's just like a. You just get like a really brief flash of the man in the iron mask, and despite that you're on the beach and the cold and the salt air, suddenly you just feel the flames all around you, and just gritting your teeth and something, you just you lunge, and wanting to save your friend, you drive the rapier deep through all the material. Your arm goes into this thing and you puncture, and when you hit the pearl, you realize it's almost like a sort of like a bladder. It's this organic material, and there is a great. As soon as you drive through and you puncture it, you feel the gelatinous material all around your arm. This thing's sort of pseudo flesh starts to you feel it soften and start to break down, and it starts to melt all around you, and this thing slowly, like the Wicked Witch of the West, melts. But Doral is still at the bottom of the pool, and when it melts, so does its spawn, and just becomes a useless puddle. And when they fully melt, they seem to actually completely just turn to water.
Are we out of combat?
We are now out of combat.
Good. I want to grab. My turn is before Durrell, so that's why I'm asking. So I want to grab him, dragging out of the water, and cast Cure Wounds.
Sure, go for it.
Andy's gonna leg it for the gold again. Now that, because clearly Durrell's gonna be okay. They got this.
I'm gonna just get a bit closer. Gather up.
Yeah. You only 6. I forgot to switch off Hunter's Mark.
Yeah, and Doral,
just be like, as Annie runs past to the goal, be like, you clearly know where her priorities lie.
Yeah. Doral is just deep under the blackness, oblivion, and then all of a sudden, you feel your lungs burn to life, and you just you start coughing water, you start coughing this thick water out of your mouth, and looking up, blinking at your comrades, taste the salt hair on your tongue.
Did I
Feel
miss
the
much?
burning in your chest. Yeah. And you're gonna have to do this with these assholes all over again next week, because that's where we're gonna leave
That
it.
channel, same bad
Oh.
links.
Yeah.
Ooh, that was
So
close.
thanks. I'm sorry we went a bit over. We went a bit over time there, but I thought better to. I didn't want to rush it too much, and didn't want to deny you a
Had to be
nice dramatic fight. So yeah, I think that's gonna do it for the gameplay. Paddy, we'll see you all again next week. If you enjoyed it, please do consider subscribing. It really helps us out. And we'll be back next week, same time slot. So yeah, once again, Michaela won't be here. Joan will be obviously continuing as Arnold for this mission. So with that, Paddy, sign offs, final thoughts.
Yeah, so just thanks everyone. I think we are going to just do a little raid as we sign off. And we're going to go and raid the DM lair if it works properly. This is my first time doing this. Normally Michaela would do it,
Yarr.
but she's not here. So yeah, once you all once you raid the channel, those of you who are on there, yeah, use Yar as the raiding cry. Yar. So thanks again for watching, folks, and we'll see you guys next time.
Yeah, in
Thanks,
spirit
folks.
See you
of
next time.
pirates
Cheers,
and
everyone.
seafaring megafolding.
Thanks, guys. Cheers.
Bye. See you next time.
Ah, it's not working.